We're going. We're just going a minute early because, frankly, the only reason I actually didn't start already is because I realized I should probably go get water because we're going to be camped out here, folks. Holy frick. Holy frick. What on... folks, hello. Surprise. Are y'all sick of me yet today? I'm about to be at my most annoying levels of myself. Y'all, holy frick. All right, friends, holy frick. Okay, let's just get that out of our system. Yes, as y'all can see, we are piggybacking off of what was just a freaking epic. Y'all, when I tell you what a freaking week we have had. Oh my god. Okay. We are piggybacking off of that epic live stream that was just hosted by Star Wars, which shout out to their team, everybody involved in not only just allowing me to frickin' be a part of that, we are gonna frickin' get to that, but let me just get this out of my system and thank them and their team. I hope they continue to do this for frickin' every Star Wars production. It was, I imagine it takes a lot of work. It's a lot also stressful to like be live and running things behind the scenes and have to constantly be, you know, you're live. So you're troubleshooting and putting out fires if something goes technically wrong. Like, it is, I imagine, a lot of work. But their production is great. Everyone involved, holy frick. The amount of the cast and crew that they are able to bring out. If they did this for every single Star Wars show, I would just be in tears of freaking joy because it's incredible. It's incredible. So you can imagine that I'm freaking the frick out right now because we got to be a freaking part of it. So not only, yes, shout out to them for even freaking letting me be in that, y'all. Holy frick. I can't even believe those words are coming out of my mouth. Shout out to them for just that. Shout out to Tony Gilroy, who has seen my reactions. Y'all, when I tell you I was shaking, I was shaking. Oh my god. Holy frick. Sorry that you had to see me ugly cry like crazy last week, but that is insane to hear. Shout out to frickin' my queen Dedra. Oh my god, like just holy frick. Okay, but more importantly, overall, moral of the story. Shout out to Star Wars and everybody involved in their team who allowed me to frickin' be a part of that. And just aside, getting to be a part of that or not, I was freaking set either way because those streams are freaking phenomenal. They are so well produced. The thought put in, the fact that they get so much fan engagement, the fact that Swagman is there in the chat, actively involved with everybody, you know, hyping everyone up. I even saw somebody remark in the chat, like, you know, that in the past Star Wars hasn't been that active, you know, with the fans, you know, interacting in the chat box. So like, shout out to just, you know, their interaction, getting the fans involved. The energy was freaking amazing, y'all. I literally was sitting in there like, I felt like I was back at Star Wars Celebration because the vibes were just pure awesomeness. It was so freaking just palpably amazing to see the love for Andor in the chat. So whether I had been involved in that or not, it was still incredible. And I hope they continue to do these. I know that's asking a lot because I imagine it's a lot of work and a lot goes into it. And again, running it, operating it live, there's a heightened level of stress if something were to go wrong, but they make it run so smoothly. Amazing. Their graphics, their transitions, the guests, everything is so freaking epic. So just holy frick. Thank you, Star Wars, for freaking letting that happen. Y'all, when I tell you, I have been operating on freaking insane levels of adrenaline since Star Wars Celebration. This cannot be healthy for one human being because I thought after Celebration things were gonna calm down. It's like, let's just get through Star Wars Celebration. I can't even freaking breathe. Hang on. This isn't soda, by the way. I know I probably already seem really amped up. You're probably thinking, Catherine, why are you drinking Orange Crush right now? That's the last thing you need pumping through your veins. It's flavored water. But holy okay. Let's just take a deep breath. Thank you all so much for joining. So yes, this was very impromptu. I should have announced that I was going to do this because, I don't know, because this was in a game plan all along. So yes, as I replied to Simply Everything's comment earlier, before we went live, I'm freaking here for the day, y'all. We are camped out. We are set. We are freaking pre-gaming this Andor freaking finale because I cannot do or think about anything else. It will be literally physically impossible for me to be productive, let alone after everything that just freaking transpired. So we are here. Thank you so much for joining, especially since this is so very last minute and just impromptu, and I already was spamming y'all with community posts and everything. So thank you for being here. Again, with such short notice, I literally posted that we were going live and then went live 5 minutes later. I don't normally do that, but what is up to Sean, Josh, Nick Gundy, Simply, who was here, who can't join live, but like I said, we're gonna be here we're here, y'all, and we are still doing Dork Discourse later at our usual time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, to pregame before the episode actually drops. I'm probably going to take maybe a 2-hour break between these two because I should not expend all my energy like this. I'm about to be pulling a freaking all-nighter, so we should probably savor what we still have. But right now, you can tell, I am not normally like this, and I am not caffeinated. I am just high on life and joy in Star Wars, y'all. Jason Olsen's here. Valerian Winter Drake, you were on the Star Wars official YouTube channel, I know! Y'all, I freaking woke up at like 6:30 a.m. today, which I also don't normally do. Uncaffeinated, off of pure vibes, off of pure sheer freaking will to live, like John freaking Wick. Just sheer freaking will. C. Johnson, what's up? What is the emotional damage that we're gonna receive tonight? I don't know, but I'm gonna be prepared, y'all. I'm not wearing eyeliner tonight, and I'm bringing tissues because I learned my lesson last week. They aren't gonna get me again. Fool me once. Patrick Kelly, good to see you. Vident Joshi, so cool that Tony Gilroy mentioned you. I was freaking not expecting that, y'all. Okay, I'm annoying myself right now. Like, this is not, I am not operational like this normally. But, like, I could not believe it. Holy frick, the fact that even I got to ask a question in general, especially coming off of those episodes, y'all. Can you imagine my not only joy and sheer excitement when Star Wars reached out and freaking offered me to be a part of that? I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I will do whatever you ask. I turned into Anakin immediately. I will do whatever you ask. But then to watch that round of episodes, y'all, and then be like, oh my god, I get to freaking ask, like, why would you rip my heart out? How is it physically possible that you have me out here crying over Cyril and Dedra, my favorite freaking characters, you know, to be able to pick their brains, to hear from Denise, oh my god, like, Jesus. Sorry, okay, I'm gonna try to dial it in. Valerian Winter Drake asks if we're gonna watch Rogue One right afterwards. I don't know, because I gotta get editing. I gotta pump these reactions. We're gonna see. Y'all, I'm literally about to have an all-nighter. It's gonna be crazy. Chazarus, thank you so much for joining. Great question. Thank you. I tried not to overthink it. I was stressing a little bit, but I was like, this is my gut. This is what I want to ask. Colin's here. Thank gosh. I figured we would get to see more of our European/UK friends since this is a normal time of day there for you guys. What an appearance. Well, I didn't know. I wasn't going to say anything, but then when they dropped the stream last night, we were just chilling, and then we saw that they dropped it, and that they name dropped us along with Mesa Windu and Heroes Reforged in the description. So I was like, okay, I guess we can spill the beans. Cat's out of the bag, so I can be sneaky and start like plugging this. My dream in orbit. Tony Gilroy said he saw your reaction to 7 through 9. Yeah, can y'all imagine? I'm almost a little bit embarrassed because I never post with the. I never assumed that anybody involved in production is gonna see my videos. I mean, granted, I never thought Howard Stern would ever watch my videos, but here we are. Anything's possible, y'all. But this is an upgrade from that. I hope Tony wasn't too freaked out by my sheer that was the most I've ever let loose, just hysterically crying in any of my reactions. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost embarrassed that you've seen it, but holy frick. After Tony said that he watched your videos, I was like, WTF, same. I was shaking. Excess vengeance. How long do we have? Literally, unfortunately, the whole rest of the day. We've got T-minus still like 6.5 hours. Oh, hey, we're live. We are. Daddy Josh still stuck at work. Well, hopefully Hopefully, Cat is locked in. Y'all, I have never been so dialed in. Sabersmith, Dirty Hawks TV, thank you so much for being here. Yep, my Dream in Orbit hype levels are through the roof. This is freaking crazy. Dr. Professor 756, when Tony shouted you out, I freaked out. Me too. Me freaking too. I was shaking, y'all. It was just crazy. Sabersmith says my students are hyped and that's all they've been talking about. Literally, I can't fathom actually having to be in school right now or having to be productive. That's why I was like, we need to just camp out. We need to piggyback off of this and channel this energy and just freaking commiserate in pregame. So like I said, welcome. Thank you so much for joining again on such short notice. But we are going to freaking be here, y'all. We're going to be here. We are camped out. We are in the trenches. We are locked in. I'm going to remember to hydrate. So that I can still function after this and still film our reactions later because holy frick! All that aside, we still have a whole freaking finale to watch, y'all. Oh my god. I can't see the episodes until tomorrow morning and I have to take melatonin to sleep, otherwise I never will. Shoot, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Stay offline, the spoilers will be rampant. Hopefully you can remain spoiler free and sleep through the night knowing that you get to watch them in the morning. Colin says, I've met Denise. Oh my gosh. Elizabeth Delau and also Anthony Daniels last week at the Star Wars con that I worked for. They're all so nice. And I also met Hayden 4 times and Giancarlo and John Boyega this weekend. Oh my gosh, we saw your pic with John Boyega. That's so cool that he's still, he's doing like photos and stuff. And he's making appearances at these. He deserves to. He deserves to receive all the love and appreciation in the world. So that's awesome to hear, Colin. I still can't believe the last 2 weeks. Freaking you and me both, Colin. Like I said, I'm maybe Tony's here now that we know he's a fan. Ezra, could you imagine? Ooh, literally. The pressure's high. Rogue One on Friday night for me. Oh, that's awesome. I will be seated tonight. Heck yes. Oh shiz, has it already been a whole week? It just feels like 3 to 4 days since I saw the last episodes. Literally, Gregan. Mike Locke, he is watching reactors. That is crazy. Literally, that is crazy. I found your episode 8 reaction, and yeah, I felt the same. Literally. I think a lot of us were ugly crying there, JD494. That was a lot. What's funny, he could be watching right now. Maybe Patrick. Maybe he's in the shadows. Are you gonna stream for the next 7 hours? No, I was tempted. That was the original game plan. I was like, I might just start hosting a mega stream that will segue into Dork Discourse, but I couldn't frickin' wait. I was like, we need to go right now. We need to expend this energy. We need to frickin' just get hype, y'all. We are locked in. Celebrate the epicness that just happened because, y'all, as I was sitting watching that stream, I really felt like that was just a win for all of us here. Genuinely. And I know that sounds so freaking like sappy and, you know, might be, I don't know, not the most authentic sounding because that's freaking everybody's sentiment. Like, this was a win for all of us. But that is truly the feeling that just like overwhelmed me because I was just so excited to see you guys also so excited. Those of y'all that I recognized in the chat, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking hype. It just felt like such a win for all of us. So that's why I was like, I gotta go live. I'm not gonna be able to do anything else or think of anything else. Yes, I finally caught a live. I'm so glad, Susan. Hi, Kat, and everyone's so excited for tonight. Literally excited and scared. I gotta get emotionally locked in again because y'all, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm still in the field with Brasso, so you can imagine that I still haven't even processed what happened last week, let alone whatever is in store for tonight. So I'm gonna have tissues at the ready because I made my mistakes. They're not gonna catch me empty-handed again. Infinite Possibility says, Tony Gilroy watching you and other fans' reactions was not on my 2025 bingo card. Literally, that's so freaking cool to me. Julian says, I can't wait for tonight. Literally. Mike Locke says, I hope that you interview Tony Gilroy. I don't even know if I'd be able to handle that. Oh, but talk about a brain to be able to pick, y'all. Oh my god, what, just so brilliant. Can I just say, everybody, one of the things that stands out from those live streams that Star Wars and Disney Plus have been hosting, you know, with Andor and Tony Gilroy and the cast and whatnot, it's so incredible to see how much they all just love and support each other And that has just been so rewarding to see, especially because my favorite thing about this show, besides the villains, as I said, is the fact that it is just this ensemble piece, and it is so much more than just like throwback. I'm seeing so many people on Twitter voicing the same sentiment, like throwback to when they first announced the Andor show, and we were all like, what? And now here we are, and we're all like mourning the fact that it's over tonight. Like the transformation from point A to point B of us being like, where is this show coming from? Andor? And now we're sobbing because we're losing some of the greatest Star Wars ever within mere hours. Is crazy, but that's been one of the best discoveries of this show, just seeing how much of an ensemble piece it is, seeing how much they all freaking care about and support each other and hype each other up and are just enthralled by each other's work, seeing how much they all fangirl over each other, and just hearing how brilliant freaking Tony Gilroy is as he's dissecting these scenes. We're eating so freaking good. We are feasting. I'm full. I can't take much more, but we still have a finale to get through tonight. Jay says that I never chat, but I'm proud of the channel, cat. Stop. Oh my god, I freaking love y'all. Even those of y'all who never chat, like that means the world to me. Anyone know how many hours till the episodes drop? Unless they surprise us. I think it's 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, UK/Europe. I'm so sorry, I can't do math. Ilfan Editore, hello! Crying inside for the series finale, literally. Andor might be my favorite 2-season show since Rome. Also a good show, Chris. Also. Occultus Rexus. Tony saw you crying and he said he had to have you on the show. Maybe. Oh my gosh. Tony Gilroy watches a lot of the reaction. Season 1 he watched Struggle Nation and went on their channel. That's right, because they were featured in the first stream that Star Wars did with Tony and the same cast before the show aired. So that's what I was looking forward to. This time around, that they the first live stream they did with Tony, they couldn't divulge much. Everybody was on eggshells, like they can't say anything. This time, to hear them actually be able to dissect and process, to see Adria Arjona be able to live react to her big scene, it was crazy. So yeah, it was such a different, obviously, vibe this time around that they can actually divulge and share, and the only thing that's left is the finale that they have to be tight-lipped about. Mr. Slash, welcome. I just wish I found you sooner. Hey, better late than never. And honestly, this is the best freaking time to be here. We have never been better, y'all. This is like one of the craziest freaking times ever. These last few months between this show, Star Wars Celebration, Tales of the Underworld, just Andor hype and everything. This has been like the best time to be alive here on this channel. I've literally never felt more alive. So welcome. Better late than never. We're happy to have you here. Welcome aboard. Came here after being pleasantly surprised seeing you on the Star Wars channel. Thank you. That's why I was like, I just gotta go live. We gotta savor this. We gotta freak the frick out together, y'all, because I was trying to keep it cool. But y'all know I'm too big of a fan. I'm too big of a fan, girl. So I was like, I gotta get this out of my system. 116 people here. This is a dub. I know, we've never had this many freaking folks watching. Holy frick. Like, thank you guys. But also that goes to show the hype is so freaking real for this show. Let's get it. Heck yes, RV, Stone, and Sky. I suppose we're all rewatching Rogue One as soon as Andor ends, right? I think there's no choice. Spare a thought for us in the UK. We don't get to see it until tomorrow. Oh, true, because I guess if it that is technically tomorrow, and it doesn't that drop at like 4 a.m. for you guys? What would that be? If it drops at 9 p.m. Eastern, there's like a 6. Yeah, that actually kind of drops like right in the middle of the night. I'm so sorry. Marvel Star Wars fanatic, just saw you on the Andor live stream. That's absolutely awesome that Tony watches your videos. I know, it's crazy. Like, y'all, I'm gonna watch this back and irritate the living crap out of myself and be like, how was I this charged up? How did I have this much sheer raw energy? But for now, we're soaking it in, we're freaking relishing it, and we're like, holy frick, just cannot believe it. I'm gonna cry, and I haven't even started season 2 yet. Oh my gosh! Oh, okay, go freaking watch it. You can binge it, and then still be able to get to the finale by tomorrow if you start now. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to address the chat here. I think I'm a little bit caught up. I watch the live Star Wars feeds. They're literally a family and care for each other. So amazing. We need more masterpieces from Tony. Agreed, Susan. Literally, preach. I usually can't watch your lives, but I'm so happy that I caught this one. So proud of you. Onward and upward. Thank you, Sabersmith. Oh, I'm so happy. Happy to hear that. Thank you for being here. Tony Gilroy is so goated watching Struggle Nation. So cool how they were able to do a full-on Ask Tony Gilroy that one time. Yeah, I would love to go back and rewatch that. That is so very cool. That he engages like with the audience, which I think is also, it's just mirrored in his, storytelling. The fact that he seeks out, people's reactions to his work and doesn't just put it out into the ether and then log off and say, well, it is what it is and we'll see how they like it. Like, no, the fact that he actually engages with it is reflected, obviously. It's just another bright green flag as to just what type of creative he is and just how brilliant and special this whole thing is. This is a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Amen, Danny. Amen, Danny. Hello from Long Beach. What's up, Joshua? Neighbors. Oh my gosh. Okay. Catching my breath a little bit. Tony watches your videos? Question mark. We learned. Now, I don't know if he watches all of them, but he mentioned that he had seen my episode 8 reaction, and that was like one of my craziest reactions of all time, y'all. So that's why I was like, oh god. I'm a little bit like nervous that that's the one that he would have seen, but I mean, you guys saw it. I genuinely have never cried that much on the channel. There was a solid several minutes of just sobbing that I had to edit out before I could start speaking. I almost had to turn the camera off, y'all, but I was like, no, document this, fight through it. As difficult as it's going to be to watch yourself back in this state and try to edit and decipher what the frick I said. It clearly still resonated with a lot of people. And we've reached the right audience, clearly. Hello there from SF Valley in Los Angeles. Only 6.5 hours. I almost don't want to watch. I don't want Rogue One to happen. For real, y'all, how is this going to end? How is this going to end? Is it going to end on like a... I'm curious what tone it's going to end off on. I don't feel like it can end tragically. I feel like there's still tragedy in store before we get to episode 12. But I feel like episode 12 itself is going to end off on like a high note because it has to segue and get us into where they all are. Like, they're all freaking locked in, ready to go for Rogue One when they get Jin. And they're all like, no business, cut to the chase, like, they are stone cold, we need to freaking, because they've discovered what it is. Well, that's when they don't even actually know what it is until Cassian rendezvous with that guy with his arm in the sling in the very beginning of Rogue One, and he divulges that they're building it's a super weapon. So they actually don't learn the truth in totality until the beginning of Rogue One. So either way, I don't know. What do y'all think? I think I'm still going to be ready with the tissues tonight. Scott Branson, what's up? Why do you guys think Bix is pregnant? I don't know. But can I say, y'all, I have new predictions now, because at first I thought after her sign-off, after her goodbye FaceTime message with him in last week's episodes, I was certain, I was like, they're never going to see each other again, which I still think is true. I think that adds to the tragedy, because Tony and all the cast have been saying, Rogue One is going to feel like a whole new movie by the time we get to it. And it already does. That new perspective of, oh my gosh, Cassian's doing this. He's in it till the end because that Bix is the light at the end of the tunnel. He doesn't go into, obviously, Rogue One and, join Jin on Scarif thinking that he's gonna die. He maybe knows that. He maybe knows the sacrifice in store, but learning that he was motivated, I'm sure, by this will and desire to get back to Bix is crazy. It already has painted Rogue One and his motives, his goals in a completely new light. So I'm curious what more they could add to that and amplify it. So if she were pregnant, all this is to say, though, At first, I thought, oh my gosh, could this goodbye from Bix be the last that we see of her? Because I really do feel like she and Cassian won't ever see each other again. That just is tragic, and that's what this show has been. It's just straight tragedy. But if she were pregnant, Dedra resigns from her job and lives with the guilt, says Miguel. Okay, I agree. I know that there's a lot of theories going around right now that she gets stationed on the Death Star, but I feel like a worse fate for Dedra would be, sometimes it's worse to live with the guilt and the weight of all of your mistakes and all the atrocities that you have aided in, everything that you have done, all the blood on her hands. I think that would be worse of a fate sometimes than death on the Death Star. I don't know. Dirty Hawks TV says, I think Vix is definitely pregnant. Sabersmith says, I think it'll end on Krennic either standing in front of the Death Star or talking about it. True, there could actually be a bit more Krennic in store, which they teased. I hope so. Justin Ritchie, yeah, I agree. I thought so too. I presumed that Bix was just out for the rest of the show. I went back to just see Cassian's death, and there's this whole new feeling. It is knowing what he was waiting for, knowing what he thought he could be returning to, with Bix. That's actually a good point though, Mattress Matt. If Bix is pregnant, if she did leave with child, she would have it by the next arc, by these episodes, because there's a year in between all of them. So there would already be a little child about. That would actually be crazy. I don't know. Dedra goes to jail and meets Kino Loyal. That would be crazy. Danny, thank you so much. Sorry, wait, I'm trying to like it. Stop moving. There we go. If Star Wars is a Shakespearean tragedy, Andor is a Greek tragedy. It also parallels so perfectly with Les Mis and other classical literature. R.I.P. Cyril, yes. And Danny, I don't know if it was you, or maybe it was the Stanleys. Multiple people commented on my reactions from the previous round of episodes that it is so Les Mis coded, and I never realized that. And there is this like Javert, Jean Valjean dynamic between Cyril and Cassian, and I never made that connection, but it's crazy. It is so accurate. There are quite a lot of parallels. Cyril's mom attacks Dedra for what happened to her son. I don't know if my question to that is, when we first get to Gorman and we catch up with Cyril and learn that he's there, he's planted, he's working there as a pawn, and his mom's chewing him out on the phone. She says to him, like, you had everything, you were on Coruscant, you had finally found a woman that was perfect for you, like out of your league. And so I took that to insinuate that he maybe had to pretend that he had broken up with Dedra to go be here, because nobody could know that she was involved in this. She had to keep it on the down low, so I'm sure she made Cyril swear to secrecy, what he's actually doing, who he's actually reporting to. So I interpreted it as he maybe had to pretend that he had broken up with her to go take this job, therefore not letting his mom know, like, oh yeah, I'm going to work for Dedra on this. I think he probably had to fake a breakup in a way to keep her name out of it, because nobody could know what she was doing, let alone Edie with her big mouth. So that's how I interpreted that. She's chewing him out. Like, why would you go to Gorman of all places? You had finally found the perfect woman. To me, the subtext of that is like, why did you let her go? Why'd you let your good life go? So I think Edie probably thought that he had broken up with Dedra to go take that job. So I don't think she has any idea that Dedra was involved or would blame her. There were so many hints by Andy Serkis that Kino would be appearing again. And in the very beginning of the season, a few of the Imperial officers were talking about the prisons having issues with people. Y'all think we're getting a Kino Loy appearance in the finale? I don't know. Listen, I'm not against it. We still have 3 episodes left, y'all. Like, oh my gosh, so much could happen. There's so much potential for so much to freaking happen. Saul kills Luthen. You think, Eric? Actually, this could that you could be onto something because I was rewatching the beginning of Rogue One last night to see what is their headspace, what is everybody's demeanor, what's their sense of urgency. Like, does it seem like something tragic just happened? Where's everyone's mental state at when they secure Jyn and actually brief her on what's going on? And Mon Mothma comes in and she's explaining, they're asking about Jyn's history with Saw Gerrera, and Jyn's like, you're all rebels, aren't you? And Mon suggests, yes, Saw Gerrera, though he's an extremist, we don't rock with him. They express that they've like cut ties, like Saw has defected from their faction of the rebellion because he's out doing his own thing. So I feel like something, because we obviously know that there's tension and curiosity between Saw and Luthen when we see their interactions. They're always like sleeping with one eye open when they're like near each other, but they know they're on the same side just with different approaches. But I feel like something still could have to be in the works. Like maybe we will be getting Saw once more with some sort of catalyst that fully severs his, they fully cut ties with him and disassociate with him to the point where we get, Mon in Rogue One, where she's saying, he's caused a great deal of trouble, great many problems. I think those are her words for our cause. So I think something has to go down that we still have yet to see, where there's tension or conflict. That Saw's group. So maybe to dial this back to your point, maybe Saw does kill Luthen. Crystal Kyber, let's get it. It was so good to see you in the live stream over there on the Star Wars channel. It literally just felt like such a party. Like I recognized all these folks from Star Wars Twitter, fellow YouTubers. It was such a good time. Bix and Dedra are both pregnant, says Scott. Now that would be crazy. I only see Luthen going out the way Luthen wants to go out, says our Wolf. You could be onto something as well. I think, actually, curious. He could be onto something. Because he knows his fate, and they've laid it on thick. They certainly have not shied away from. Oh, thank you. Thanks, mods. He has fully accepted. He, I think, knows there's no way out for him. One way out or no way out. I think those are his options. So you could be onto something that he would take matters into his own hands to avoid a worse fate. I don't know. I mean, Luthen's definitely. I'm not prepared. Listen, we've all had our predictions, and they still found a way to surprise us with, like, everybody obviously knew that somehow Bix had to be eliminated from the equation. Does she meet her fate? But the, decision to have her willingly leave him, I never would have predicted. I think that took a lot of us by surprise. So even with all of these, like, predictions swirling, I trust that they still have something crazy and mind-blowing in store that would come as a shock, that we would all be like, I didn't even think about that. That's what I'm here for, says Sean. Thank you. I think his next move will be bold enough to get him killed and light the final spark. Oh, like he would willingly light the spark that sets off the fire for the. I don't know. Everybody does seem pretty tense in the beginning of Rogue One. The bits that I rewatched, like, there is this crazy heightened sense of urgency, and this is kind of like, not the last stand per se, but the mission to find Galen Erso is of the utmost importance. So depending on how closely this ties in, Tom has theories that however this ends, it will bleed into Rogue One just from other characters' POVs. Like, Tom really thinks that we could potentially get just an example, but he thinks that we could get something like, we see Bix and what she's doing with her life after we know that Scarif has already been destroyed, Light Blinded Fool, thank you so much. Great question on the official Star Wars stream today. Cool that Tony saw your reactions. I know, right? Crazy. Thank you. I'm so glad that y'all thought it was a good question, because I was like, I didn't want to overthink it and try to do anything too crazy or try to sound too intellectual. I was just like, what am I genuinely feeling as a fan? And I genuinely can't believe that I like the villains as much as I do and that I'm freaking rooting for them. Y'all, what is gonna happen to Dedra? That's what I'm like. She's beyond redemption. She is beyond the point of redemption, and I thought that was the case for Cyril as well. Like, for them, that's why I think for her, I feel like she could make it out alive. Now, what's her main objective going to be, though? Because she succeeded on Gorman, and Partygaz was saying, he's like, bravo, Krennic's happy with you, like, seal of approval. Everyone's singing her praises. This will surely earn her an even further promotion. She could probably have any job she wanted there at this point, I'd say, because, she took Gorman and did exactly what they wanted with it. So I feel like this gave her leverage, but, she's probably just lost. So maybe she just gets further locked in now that Cyril's out of the equation, now that she's lost that one part of her that was maybe a little bit humane. But I do still feel like it can be a worse fate to live with your decisions than to die. I don't know, that can almost be like too merciful of a way out. I feel like for her, we already saw that she's haunted by so much of her guilt. I don't know, so much could happen, so much is going to happen. I just can't believe it's all coming to an end tonight. Mithrandir, thank you so much for being here. Loved you on your clip on the stream today. You were so good. Well, thank you. And so cool that Tony said that he knew who you were and had seen your reactions. Y'all, literally, I was here by myself, like screaming. It was so, oh my gosh, I don't think I'll ever forget that. That was just electric, because I was not expecting that at all. Yeah, I just, it was the whole thing. I am unwell waiting for tonight. Agreed, R Wolf, and I'm probably going to be unwell later tonight. Miguel, yes, I think Krennic awards Dedra, but she's filled with guilt and rejects it and quits. Y'all, you could be onto something. When we next see Dedra in a year's time, perhaps she's left. And she was still so caught up on Axis, and they were denying her that, and they passed it on to her, her former right-hand man, her former, secretary. The guy who was doing all the grunt work for her when she was full-fledged pedal to the metal trying to hunt down Andor. Luthen, without knowing Luthen's identity, but knowing that there was a power player who was in the works, behind the scenes, pulling the strings. Now they know that they have a larger rebellion to be focusing on, I'm sure. Especially now that Mon Mothma's joined the game. So I think their attention has definitely probably shifted from Axis, but Dedra probably never let go of that. She wanted to still pursue him rather than take this job, which is everything that she has ever wanted being handed to her on a silver platter directly from Krennic himself. So you could actually be right that they would offer her whatever promotion you want. You can do whatever. She probably maybe leaves out of sheer guilt and out of just drive she goes off on her own and becomes a private investigator to try to locate Luthen and Axis, because that's Axis to her is what Cassian was to Cyril in a way. This initial kind of, for them, this kind of nuisance, this little gnat flying around that it's like, we gotta freaking smack this now before it keeps biting us. And she probably still sees Axis that way, same way, we saw Cyril snap the second he sees Cassian. This kind of looming little thing that will never go away, that is always hovering in the back of their brains on the back burner. I don't know, so many possibilities. Super curious about how Luthen goes out, says Zesty. I think they're gonna find a way to still surprise us. So are we not getting any answers about Cassian's sister, says Albert. I think that was a lesson a long time ago, that he had to abandon that search. I do think now that the objective of the story was never to be about Cassian finding his sister. I think that was just the catalyst for him to get, swept up in all of this, and he just happened to be on that mission, looking for his lost family. And I think the tragedy there is he'll never find her, but he gets swept up in something much larger than he could have ever anticipated, obviously. Yeah, Dirty Hawks TV, I agree. I'm pretty sure the Cassian sister story is done. Marva pretty much said so. I think so too, and his priorities and his objective has totally changed. And I think maybe not a little mini moral out of all of that is though we meet Cassian in the beginning and he's looking for his family, who he may never be able to find. He's found his family now, but they're never gonna find, Biggs is never gonna find him, y'all. Oh. He was never able to find his sister, and now Biggs is never gonna be able to find him. No. This show is something else. Also, if you're joining, I swear, again, I disclaimed this before, this is not Orange Crush. This is not soda. I know I seem way too amped up right now, but I swear I'm not caffeinated. I'm not further adding to our levels of energy that are just unmatched right now because the vibes are just... Oh, it feels so freaking good to be a Star Wars fan right now. Like, this is just crazy vibes. What if we get a big post credit scene after the episode 12 credits? You could be onto something, Sammy. I'm serious. Tom really thinks that this show could bleed into Rogue One, and that we will not only, because I know they've always been saying, oh, it leads into, goes right up to Rogue One, but I feel like, that could still be... I agree. I don't disagree with what Tom's been saying from the beginning. He has steadfast believed from the start that we are going to see other characters who survive, following the events of Rogue One and Scarif, even after Cassian has died. Which, holy frick, y'all, I cannot even fathom what it's going to be like to rewatch Rogue One. Now that we have all of this, just also with whatever is in store tonight, that's going to reshape the perspective, the lens going into that movie, but even just Cassian alone, because admittedly, when I first saw Rogue One in theaters, I don't think I cried. I think I was just in sheer shock that they actually freaking killed everyone. I was just like, holy frick, like I could not wrap my head around the fact that everybody actually died. I was just in sheer disbelief. Because the part of me always believed that, like, they're gonna get out. They're gonna make it out. Like, Cassian and Jyn, oh my god, everybody else is gonna die. Cassian and Jyn are going to make it out. Even just Jyn, maybe. I was like, somebody has to. But no, when they all... I was just like, you're kidding, right? How did this happen? How did this get approved? Same, echoing the same things I was saying last week. This time last week, after episode 8. How did half of this get approved? That's how I felt. So I don't think I cried at the time. Now, going into Rogue One, with all the history, all the backstory, everything we have with Cassian, what we've seen him go through, I think I'm gonna sob like a baby. I think it's gonna be a completely different... Because I've been sobbing for everybody else. Brasso, Cinta, it's like, oh my gosh, I never even considered how different it's gonna feel to watch Rogue One. With Cassian, with all of this that we've seen him go through. We know he won't meet his end in this show, but to rewatch that movie is going to be crazy. Light Blinded Fool says, Clea is 100% going to survive. Even if she blows herself up with the shop and Dedra, she will somehow return. Now, that is one thing, actually, that you make a really good point, scared for what Clea could do, because I think she has been the most locked in. Out of everybody, she is the most accepting of... Star Wars Guy also got your question in the stream. That was so cool. I was fangirling all over again. Wins all around. And it was a great question as well. It was so cool. But Clea, of all people, I think has always undoubtedly been the most... I know what we have to do, and I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to... it's like I was saying in... forget what episode, but when Cassian, when he had to assume that new identity when he went to Gorman. Chopper! Oh my gosh, I literally lost my mind when you showed up on the Star Wars live stream. And Tony Goy said that he stayed your reaction. I'm so freaking happy for you, Chop. Literally, I cannot even tell you how much that means to me. And it was so fun to see you over there in the chat. It was such a good time. It's been such a crazy day. So thank you so much. But when Cassian first goes to Gorman and he has this facade, I was saying in my reactions that it reminded me of, spies. When I first went to the International Spy Museum in DC, and I learned as a kid, like, oh yeah, like, holy frick, that's kind of terrifying to be in a mental state where you at any point can bite down on your tooth, and you'd sooner do that to eliminate yourself from the equation than, God forbid, the alternative. That's the position I think, like, Clea has always been, always locked in, always ready to, like, pull that trigger, metaphorically, if need be. I think she, out of everyone, has been the most, get your go bag, make sure everything's ready. We have to be ready to leave on a whim, or accept, the alternative, whatever it takes. I think that includes whatever she would have to do. So maybe, I don't know. Because I wonder if Clea is going to go to Yavin, because... Also, I'm going to fluctuate between Yavin and Yavin, because everybody with their accents says it differently on the show. But, I think Clea was one of the last stands. She was still there with Luthen. And she still very much is responsible for, keeping him... making sure that he is keeping himself safe. Hence why, when he was trying to linger back as Mon's making her escape, immediately after her speech, and Clea's urging him, like, get to the freaking gallery and be ready. I think she maybe sticks around because she's that last person there to kind of, yes, Clea is the glue to Axis. Exactly, Scott. She kind of keeps that ship afloat when Luthen starts to falter, which we have seen more of, in this season, which has been really interesting because it hasn't done anything to diminish him as a character, but if anything, just heightened the stakes, because he is this kind of stone cold, whatever it takes, similar mentality in season 1. And you see all the plates that he's struggling in the air, all of his facades and his false identities, alter ego, everything he does, the performative aspects of his life as a socialite and whatnot. But to see more of his cracks in this second season only heightens the fear, in a way. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same feeling when you watch Predator and you see, oh my gosh, look at all these special ops soldiers who are scared as shiz right now of whatever the frick this creature is. That's how I felt watching that movie. I was like, if they're scared, I'm terrified, because they're the best we've got. That's how it feels watching Luthen kind of start to fray at the edges a little bit, and have to see Clea, like, circle him back in and get him back locked and loaded. When Luthen's scared, like, that makes me freaking terrified. Thank you so much. Happy for you. You're a great part of the Star Wars fandom. You appreciate Mando or Andor style Star Wars if it's done well, and give a genuine reaction. Stop. Thank you so much. That just made my whole freaking day. My day's already been amazing, and you just added to it. Thank you. I'm pretty sure Luthen is cooked, says Chopper. I think for sure. And Lonnie is a dead man, says Eric. No, Lonnie's on borrowed time, though, y'all. How has Lonnie made it this far without having been discovered? He's pulling all these strings, especially following the Dr. Gorst mission where they took him out. How did that not get traced back to... I'm so scared for... Get out of there, Lonnie. Literally, I am so scared for him. His agent being planted there in Bale's crew. The exposure, them catching on to it, like... I don't know. I feel like he's already been on borrowed time, and he's pulling a lot of strings and taking a lot of ballsy moves behind the scenes to help out Luthen and his peeps. But no, I hope he's okay. Oh, we only have 3 episodes left. Like, realistically, how many deaths can they cram in? Sammy, thank you so much. Kleenex for tonight is on me. Thanks for your great videos. Well, thank you so much for watching. And you already read my mind. Yes, I am heading into tonight more prepared than we were last week. Yo, I was empty-handed. That was honestly noob rookie mistake on my part last week. Showing up, nothing to dry my tears. I wasn't even wearing long sleeves, y'all. I came in without tissues and without long sleeves to even just, like, dry my eyes. So we're gonna not make the same mistake. We're gonna be prepared. I should have invested in some waterproof mascara over the week. We can only make a few improvements at a time. The first one being we're gonna have tissues on standby. They're gonna cram in a lot of deaths, says Eric. Oh god. Chopper, yes, I'm worried for how many people I'm gonna have to add to my Andor Heaven picture after tonight. All of them. They're all gonna be up there. You know what, Mattress Matt? Frick, you're right. There's still more time left than Rogue One had to kill nearly everyone. Frick. Yes, Duncan, that ISB agent in Senator Organa's team was from Lonnie, right? Yes. I didn't realize that until after the fact. Because I only know him by his first name, Lonnie. I didn't know what his last name was, so... But that is interesting that... Because at first I was like, that's a little bit... Because Bale, you wouldn't think that, oh gosh, his team of all people is corrupted. So I was a little bit sad to hear that he doesn't have his full act together, but he's obviously just hands off. So, you know, as he said, he's like, I don't interact. I just dictate from afar. So he couldn't have known, but I wonder if... You know, because we know that Lonnie and Luthen, part of me questioned, you know, if Lonnie's working for Luthen, surely I wonder if Luthen, being the puppeteer he is, but also from a place of care for Mon, because I think that was one thing that he, you know, tried and maybe failed to convey to her, which is that he does genuinely care about her and recognize her role in this. And, you know, wants to preserve that and wants to protect her. I do believe that, as much as he, you know, as crazy as his methods might have been by planting his own, you know, little whisperer amongst her, I still think it came from a place of everything he does, he's wanted to, it's been out of a place of care for her. And so part of me was curious, did he order for Lonnie to plant his own ISB agent in Bale's group? Just so they could, you know, take over that situation and so that Luthen could have full control over Mon. Like, doesn't want to see her go with anybody else's people but his own. And the only way to have convinced her into that was to corrupt Bale's team. I don't know. Part of me thought that could have been orchestrated by him. Again, as an effort, you know, he has his weird motives, he has his weird waves, but everything is from a place of control for him, you know, wanting to keep all the chess pieces in play, wanting to know everybody's whereabouts, and so I can imagine him not being able to chill or sleep at night if he didn't have somebody with Mon, you know, if she had gone with somebody else's team, you know, to intentionally sabotage Bale's group in order to make it happen so that, you know, he could control Mon's escape and make sure he knew at all times where she was. Are we going live tonight? We are, Scott. Probably not after the episodes because I'm immediately going to start watching or rewatching and editing, but we are going to go live again at our usual time on Tuesdays, which we always do for Dork Discourse, 5 p.m. Pacific time. So we're going to be live here for a few more hours because we're just chilling. We're just getting hype. We're just pre-gaming. We're enjoying the company of our friends in the United Kingdom and Europe, who we don't usually get to see, unfortunately, when we stream in the evenings here, because the timing is just unfortunate and does not work out for them. So we're just partying up until then. So we'll be here for a few more hours, but then we'll probably take a break in the early evening here, afternoon, to pregame, to get our breath together before we come back for Dork Discourse. Ronan, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Yeah, that was really freaking cool. Y'all are not ready for tonight. Stop. I wasn't even ready for last week. I'm still not over last week. Tom put episode 8 on again over the weekend. I was like, what are you doing? I'm still not recovered from this. So, Bird Church. Luthen is like that guy on your paintball team that you know will go rogue and it won't work out well. That's true. That's why I'm like, what final... He was never going to go to Yavin, so what is his final... You know, especially now that Mon's not there. It's not like he needs to be there on Coruscant with her to further dictate her actions or, you know, kind of help facilitate things behind the scenes with her. What is his role still going to be then? If he even stays on Coruscant. For UK time, I just wait until the next day so that I can watch them at night, so that I've still got a whole day. Fair, Justin, fair. It's probably going to be even sadder tonight. I hope not. I don't know. That's why I'm getting locked in, y'all. We're hyped now. We're excited now. Different story later. Oh, today's my son's 4th birthday, and we have the Andor finale. What a good day. Heck yes, the lowdown. That's so exciting. But yes, I don't know. Luthen's... I feel... I mean, they're setting it up. Obviously, Luthen's going to be out of the picture. And it has always been set up to poise Cassian to be more of a leader. And, you know, he wasn't fully in that headspace in the last round of episodes, but I think Luthen's loss could be a catalyst to fully get him locked in. We shall see. Luthen would stay because he's still running Lonnie. Oh, true, Julian, true. I forgot about that. I was like, what are his remaining tethers to Coruscant? Why would he still linger there? That was crazy to think about, though. Like when, you know, they're briefing Cassian on what he's got to do to get in and get out with Mon, and he questions. He questions. Where was I? What happens if she were to get arrested? And Luthen and Kleya have that exchange of like, basically, we're all dead. That's when the weight of it hit me of like the actuality of like, yes, the fact that Mon knows all their names, all their faces, you know, what they would do to get that information out of her. She knows about Yavin. Like literally everything would have been destroyed, like broken apart, shattered to the ground. Completely no hope. And so that's still the stakes here. If they were to discover, you know, Luthen, like I guess... I don't know. Please, y'all, can Lonnie just be okay? I know Luthen's probably not gonna be okay. I know something crazy might happen with Kleya. But she's also always been, like, for the two of them, there has always been that foreboding cloud lingering over them. This acceptance that they will lose their lives for this, if they have to. Any predictions on what a possible post-credit might be if we get a post-credit? Do y'all think we would get post-credit scenes? I don't know. Oh, light-blinded fool, exactly. He also likely has connections to Bail as well. Now, by this point, though, Bail will be, because a year has passed, he will be at Yavin, correct? So, like, everybody's gonna have made their break, except for Lonnie. Ugh. We'll see. But that's true. Yeah, I think Bill will also be out. Justice for Lonnie. Amen, Bird Church. I hope so. He's literally risking... They're all freaking risking so much. That's true. We're gonna have Mon with the short hair. She's gonna be, you know... The de-Yossification of Mon Mothma that we are going to witness tonight is going to be crazy. She had the best freaking... That can't be for nothing that she literally had the best wardrobe in the show. Like, genuinely looked divine every second. Even in those... I don't know if you guys saw the... videos, the behind the scenes little vlogs that Star Wars has been posting and showing, you know, Diego Luna, Genevieve, Audra behind the scenes on their, like, the last day of each of their respective shoot dates. And even when she just comes out of her trailer first thing in the morning, no hair and makeup, literally still sipping her coffee, Genevieve looks freaking gorgeous. It's like she probably just got up and is running on fumes and a prayer because it's probably crazy on set and they're probably working crazy hours and it's her very last day. She's wrapping up as Mon Mothma, and she still looks freaking perfect before she even gets in the hair and makeup chair. So, like, she has looked absolutely glorious this whole show. Her wardrobe is insane. It's been so freaking beautiful. And so the de-glam process that we're gonna witness tonight is gonna be really freaking sad. The stark contrast. Y'all are theorizing on a post-credit scene. Holy frick, maybe Luthen will go to Alderaan. That would be crazy, lightly blinded fool. Oh my god. Retro. Post-credit scene is gonna be Windu getting absolutely drunk in a bar on Coruscant. Justin says if there's a post-credit scene, it will probably just be the Death Star related, like season 1. Oh, you're right, that's right. We did get something from season... I forgot about that, the Death Star. Do y'all think we could be getting a Vader? No. No, that's not gonna happen. I was like, maybe we'll get Vader in... Because, listen, it's coming down to the wire. I do not think we're getting Vader in this show. And frankly, I think the fact that he even appeared in Rogue One is still, like, crazy to me. And perhaps it's also like, okay, he obviously knows about all the brewings with the rebellion, everything that's kind of happening, because their strikes are getting more and more audacious. So, nah, I don't think that'll happen. I don't know. Post-credit scene is Maul walking on Tatooine, screaming Kenobi. I pronounce Yavin 100% right, Cat. Sounds perfect German. I'm going between Yavin and Yavin. I'm doing the British pronunciation. Everybody on the show who's British says Yavin, so. What happened to Mon's daughter and husband? I had read that there was allegedly a deleted scene that she was supposed to go back to her rendezvous with them and like have a heart-to-heart with them, but I think it makes it better that she had to just like point blank cut ties, get out of there, couldn't even like tie up any loose ends. The revolution starts. Oh gosh, Ronan, I'm just gonna be reposting the first teaser of Andor season 1 and the trailer for season 2 with the revolution starts now in the hours leading up to the drop. For real, I forgot about that first trailer which featured the revolution starts now, and like how hype that energy was when it was like, freak yeah, okay, we're gonna get him, we're gonna stick it to the man. And in hindsight, I'm like, I cannot believe that they released a trailer with that energy, knowing the utter heartbreak and tragedy that we've all been freaking wallowing in for the past week, following everything that transpired on Gorman. It's like, that is freaking crazy in hindsight. That first teaser that came out, when we know the actual totality of just the freaking tragedy that has transpired in this show, like, that's crazy. They were probably chuckling. They were all probably like freaking just laughing to themselves, like, we're gonna get them with this. No way, Tom's popping in. Did Tom join somewhere? He did. I'm gonna feel so empty after Andor is over. Literally, Chopper, what the frick are we gonna do? Oh, Tony has already confirmed that there's no Vader, but he did consider Palpatine at one point. But I think everything that they've done with Palpatine, the fact that they have able to build this sense of this clutch, this fear, this crippling reign that he has on the galaxy, everything they've been able to establish with just the mere drop of his name, just even mentioning his name, the fear that you see in Mon Mothma's eyes when she talks about him, like, anytime that they have mentioned him, it has held so much more weight, I think, by just withholding his presence and establishing him as this looming, you know, he waiting in the wings, like he operates everything from his freaking office, you know, but the chokehold that he still has on the galaxy, they've been able to establish such a great sense of fear around him without even having him on screen. So in a way, it might have almost cheapened it to bring him in, because they've created such a heightened sense of horror surrounding him that they didn't even need to show his face, or just mere mention of him is enough. Post-credit scene is going to be Kylo Ren reading about all of this stuff in Luke's Jedi Temple and realizing that he's siding with the Empire. Oh my gosh. Everyone keeps reporting that about that deleted scene of Mon and her daughter was something filmed. It wasn't. It was in Tony Gilroy's first draft, but he scrapped it. Ah, okay. Thank you for the clarification, Justin. Yes, I had seen that on Twitter, and I couldn't remember whether it got deleted or if it was just an initial idea. But I'm glad, because I think it makes it so much better that she just has to literally leave with the clothes on her back and freaking get out of there. Like, that would have been crazy if they had stopped at her place so she could say goodbye to her family. It makes it more like bittersweet that she couldn't even do that. Like, she knew full well, and she didn't even go home the night before. Like, she knew as soon as she locked in and sat down to write that speech, she was like, her life is over as she knows it. So I think it makes it so much better that she didn't have any sort of goodbye or closure with her family. Post credits is Thrawn wrapping up his stormtroopers in red duct tape. We will see. Bimo becomes so bitter and eventually becomes Snoke. What did I see? I saw Bix is Snoke theories on Twitter. Could be anyone. But yes, I don't know. I'm just excited also to see more K2SO tonight. They teased us with him after all of the emotional heartbreak and turmoil and psychological damage that they put us through last week. That was the one little consolation prize. So I'm so hyped to see him actually in action this week. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, to be able to enjoy more of K2. That's gonna be great. Would you play a character on screen in my Star Wars script, Cat? Potentially. Potentially. That's exciting that you're writing a script. That's so exciting. Frick yes. We need something to fill the drought that we're going to have, because we have Andor, y'all. It's going to be over, and then what the frick is next? We don't get anything until Visions, until October. But then in the live action realm, we are literally about to enter a drought tonight. It's about to be bleak out here. Sir Weblingworth, Brian Squirrel. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to say that full thing, but great username. Are they ever gonna address who his sister is? No, I don't think so, and I think that's kind of the point, that he had to abandon that journey of finding his sister in order to embark on this current path. I think the whole mission and objective to finding her was always just meant to be the catalyst for him to get swept in with the rebellion and do what he had to do that set him on this course. What's up, Yo Nestor? Thank you for being here. Excited for the Andor finale. Can't wait to get home. It was so fun to watch similar sentiments in that Star Wars live stream of people being like, I woke up at 2 a.m. for this, or like, I raced home. I'm like driving home right now. Like, literally at the wheel trying to get back for it. Ooh, Durotan thinks that his sister's just dead. And that it was probably a false hope. That could be too. That he was just chasing something that could never come to fruition. R.I.P. Cyril. I loved his arc, even though I hated him throughout the series. Cyril has truly been cemented, I think, as one of the all-time best characters in Star Wars, and that's on good writing, and that's on Kyle Solar's performance, y'all. Like, crazy. This whole cast, like, will we ever be this blessed again? It's genuinely insane. Like, honestly, so much of this, like, the circumstances have all been just right. And I don't know if they'll ever be able to match this. Hence why I've been saying, like, I know I am out here saying this is some of the best Star Wars we've ever gotten, and I'm obviously prematurely mourning the fact that it's ending tonight, and will anything be able to touch this ever again? But as I'm saying that, I'm realizing, like, I would not want anyone to try to replicate this, and even if you tried, you couldn't, because it would just feel like a losing battle to begin with if you were to try to do something. Because this just is lightning in a bottle. It's crazy. The circumstances, the fact that we had Rogue One, which turned out to be an epic and incredible freaking movie, crazy theatrical experience that magically got everybody invested in these characters within the span of just 2 hours and broke all of our hearts. So then to have that in the cultural lexicon, and then for them to be able to build off of that with the prequel that is this show, you know, the prequel to that of Andor's story, the introduction of all these new characters who they have free reign you know, because they already have the ending. So they have the confines that they're working with to raise the stakes to the point where it has been raised where it's like, we know most people are probably going to die. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, in the words of Lord Farquaad. Like, that being the constraints, being like, okay, so we can take the stakes and go way up, and the audience already knows everything that's going to happen. So to just be able to play in that space, create the characters that they have, establish all of these tragic stories of these unsung heroes of the rebellion. Yes, with this being the time period as well, like the time period, the build up to Rogue One, knowing that you can play around and, similarly to Rogue One, kill everybody off and raise the stakes to just maximum levels. The writing, again, everything about this is so, yes, even if you tried to recreate this show, you would not be able to do it, because there will never be other, this is it. This is this story about this phase of the rebellion leading into Rogue One. Like, those conditions are just so prime and so perfect. But we'll see, like, we're further delving. There could be potential. Here I am saying that in one breath, like, will anything ever be able to touch this, because just the circumstances and conditions are so prime and unusual and unique that you've been able to build all this hype, build to something, this has been a 10-year process. But we are getting, Starfighter, this entirely new film coming out that they've announced, with Ryan Gosling and whatnot. Like, that's going to be its own complete different story, complete new characters. So who's to say that we don't get that film and they do something similar and create a spin-off show or something with that? Conditions could be right again with just a completely different story, but that's why it's like, no matter what, it will never be the same as this. It will never be this time period in the rebellion, in the clutches of the Empire again. It will never be this story, these characters. And so it's just crazy. Who do you think will 100% die? Actually, thank you for the segue, Edwards. I wanted to do some polls. I was going to create a tier list of survive versus not surviving. But let's create some polls. See where the chat stands. We're gonna start off with Luthen, y'all. I think I know where this is gonna go. Yep. Immediately 100% toast. We'll do this for each person. I think if anyone's 100%, I think Vel is going to make it out, because I think it's entirely plausible and believable that she could have still been there on Yavin and just not involved in, Scarif and whatnot, busy with her own. I'm sure there was still plenty of other important missions and whatnot behind the scenes. So I do think Vel, especially after everything she's gone through and the fact that we've already lost Cinta, there's no way they're going to take out both of them. I think Vel's going to be all right. She's the only person my money is really on. Luthen is a French bread pizza. I hate saying it, but yes, he's gone. I think Luthen dies in ultimate glory. I hope he has a glorious death and not an ominous one like he's been alluding to all this time, Like, they'll hang us, won't they? I think he's always envisioned, like, the worst case scenario, and he's accepted that. Is Andor's sister Bix or Dedra? Neither! His sister is not... No, his sister being Bix. That would be crazy, y'all. This ain't Game of Thrones. I think there will be an epilogue with Bix living a happy life with a family. Carter, I hope you're right. If anyone can be happy in this show, I hope it's her. Luthen will sacrifice himself, saving Cassian. Luthen survives. Now, Sammy, different take. He survives because he thought he was the one person who thought he had no chance. Interesting. You could be onto something. Like, out of everybody... You know what? Maybe everything has been like a bait and switch for him, Sammy, because you're right. From the start, he's known this is going to be his fate. He's been projecting it for himself, accepts it, tells everybody else. He's like, I know I'm not going to see this through. I know they'll hang us for this. Like, he's really manifested it. So that would actually be kind of crazy if, out of everybody, he is the lone survivor. That would also be crazy, though, because he's gone into it with that perspective and that acceptance and that just expectation that he would be the one to die. But so far, we've seen every single one of his other troops. And I do really believe it became clear to me because they kind of, when we first got introduced to Yavin in the last arc in episode 7, and they've made it clear that Luthen's maybe not gone off the rails, but they're all kind of free of him and they're all relieved to be there. No longer, just his puppets working for him. It kind of feels like, okay, something must have transpired off screen. Like, did he really spiral? Did he kind of go crazy? And, he really was manipulating all of them and treating them like droids. Like Cassian's saying, like, we're not stone cold blooded. All this shiz you're putting us through is putting us through the ringer. So it insinuates, to me, I interpreted like something must have gone haywire behind the scenes and they no longer want to associate with Luthen. But then when we fast forward to Mon's escape and they make it to the Coruscant safe house, and the first thing Cassian does is go to check on Wilman in the back, who they just got back from, Gorman and whatnot. And, Cassian asks Clea, what does Luthen want? And the only thing he wants is for Wilman to get a doctor. That was such a brief exchange, but it was so significant. To me, it really stood out because it's like, oh my god, they just made this crazy heist. They pulled it off. They got Mon out. What's next? And for Luthen's first thought to be, get Will to a doctor. That to me really stood out and I think shows where his true intentions, not true intentions, but his true feelings lie. Like, yes, here he is perhaps unable to show all these people individually that he cares about them because he knows he's sending them all out there and could lose them at any moment's notice and not be there to save them. But I do think that would actually be so tragic if Luthen, of all people, is the one who expects that he's gonna not make it out of this. But if instead all of his, minions, all of his disciples, everybody else was the one to actually go. Frick. Emery has joined. Let's get it. Let's get it. I think that the post-credit scene is Bix holding Cassian's kid, and next to them, Bevo. Y'all, can we get some clarity on Bevo, please? If he's alive. Can I create 2 polls at once? No, I can't. All right, so let's close out this poll. I'm honestly shocked that it's not 100%. Hey, we have 67 votes. I was gonna end it right as we got to 66. Majority agree, yes, that Luthen is toast. I'm shocked it wasn't 100% because, yeah, but that would actually be a crazy twist. If here we are, everybody's money's on him, and if he's like the one person to make it out, that would be kind of tragic in a way. Nandini, thank you so much for being here, my queen. Okay, who's next? Okay, Lonnie. We'll do Lonnie next. Survives or toast, y'all? I want him to survive. Can I vote in this? No, I can't. I want Lonnie to survive. I just don't see how Bix being pregnant adds anything to the show. Like, okay, Cassian has a child. He's still dead. I kind of agree, Justin. And I feel like there doesn't need to be any more reason for her to have left other than she has a genuine, the spirit is moving her. Like, she genuinely believes in Cassian to the fullest. And the purest, coming from the purest place of love, that she loves him that much and believes in him that much and is willing to sacrifice that future for herself. I think that was catalyst enough, and I think they emphasized that enough, that she feels this significant, there's something significant about him. There's something about his presence here, like the fact that it shook her to her core. And so I feel like that on its own is a perfectly fine catalyst for her to go without any other collateral, with a kid or whatnot. So I don't know, though. We shall see. Lonnie is a deep dish pizza that the chef forgot about in the oven. Jacob, no. You're actually firing on all cylinders right now, though, with these baked goods metaphors. But frick, you're right. Lonnie will make it out and get to Yavin, I think. Daddy Josh, I'm with you. I hope so. I hope you're right. I think Lonnie, Vel, and Clay will be the only survivors, says Edwards. This feels like, holy frick, y'all. Throwback to before the Battle of Winterfell in the final season of Game of Thrones when everybody was out here like, who's living, who's dying, who's becoming a White Walker. This is the same energy. I haven't felt this type of energy in so long. Lonnie will make it. Catherine's right. They can't kill everyone. Well, thank you, Scott. I agree. I hope so. Oh my gosh, wait, has ADHD made an appearance? Up here. Oh my gosh, let's get it! ADHD has graced us with their presence. It's a party now. Hopefully Lonnie makes it. He's gone through too much. LOL. I agree, Anthony. Saul's about to start a huge battle for sure. Agreed, Durotan. Again, I know I was saying, but I think by the time we get to Rogue One, they have all completely exiled him and no longer associate with him. So something has to transpire that makes them all cut ties. They can't kill everyone. Me watching Rogue One for the first time. Yeah, literally. Same. Y'all, I was just telling Tom this because, I don't know if y'all have been watching The Last of Us Season 2, but my denial, like, extends to everything. Like, in that, when I first played, you know, that game, watched what happens with that, I was like, there's no way. Like, I will be in denial until the last second when it actually happens. And even then, I'm like, well, maybe there's a chance. Like, so that denial will extend into this evening. What is everyone looking forward to most or hoping for in the finale? I think the only thing I can look forward to is more K2SO. The rest, he's like the consolation prize in all of the emotional trauma that we're gonna go through again. I don't know. Is this gonna be worse than Gorman, like emotionally? More harrowing than that? I don't know. Nico, thank you so much for being here. I just subbed 2 hours ago after seeing your reaction to 8. I love your emotional reaction, but wasn't good for my own. Yeah, I did feel bad about that, that I would just have everybody probably crying with me all over again. But thank you so much for being here, and welcome aboard. I appreciate that you're here. The Last of Us 2 broke me. Edwards, for real. Are we blind? Deploy the likes. Amen, ADHD. I can always count on you for the self-promotion that I don't do for myself. All right, so everybody also, though, agrees that Lonnie's toast. All right. Let's throw out, I guess, Clea. And then we'll probably do Vel. I don't know. I don't know if my money's on anyone. I don't know. Okay, all right. Survives for the most part. Okay, odds are good. Odds are in our favor. Odds are good. Odds are dwindling. Most of the votes are balancing out. But we shall see. I don't think anything could be more emotionally damaging as Gorman. I agree. That's why, like, perhaps there will be a different energy tonight. It's a piece of raw sandwich. Oh my gosh. She might live. Maybe. Oh yeah, what about Perrin and Lita? Yeah, true. That's another crazy thing. I've said this though. I think Lita's fine no matter what because there's something about very traditional marriage values going on there, and so I think they definitely abide by, like, okay, if you marry into the husband's family, you become part of his family, and therefore there's a level of protection for you. Like, I feel like she's less in danger because she's no longer just Mon's daughter. She is a married woman who joined another family, you know. That's crazy to think about. I can't believe how many people stopped watching The Last of Us after episode 2. Not surprised. Clea survives, you Sith Lords. I love that energy, light blinded. Yeah, it looks like, all right, 60-40-ish split. Elizabeth teased something at the con in Cologne, but maybe, but couldn't get if it's good or bad. Oh shoot. Oh frick. Can we see Gorman implode to start the episode 10? Oh my god, Iron Patriot, frick. That would be crazy. Because I imagine the process of mining the planet is probably takes a while. And I wonder too, like, if there were survivors, they probably just like imprisoned them, like for silencing purposes. Or there were no survivors. But yeah, like anybody who who wasn't there in Palmo Square when all of that went down, or even, you know, we saw what's his name? I'm gonna botch his name, but my fave guy who killed Cyril. But you know, we saw him. Lazine was still you know, still alive but barely breathing, so I just imagine they probably imprisoned or did something to eradicate the remaining population. Could we get one last look at all the cool stuff at Luthen's gallery before he gives up the ghost? Maybe. He's probably gonna have to make a quick break for it too. Oh, JD, it would be interesting if in these last 3 episodes we spent... Rylands, thank you, Ezra. Thank you. If we spent some time on Alderaan, that would be crazy. Caro, thank you. I was blending his first and last name together in my brain. Zach, agreed. I've been preaching this. Let's bring the C&Z show back. I miss talking Star Wars. Yes, and this show freaking in particular. We're picking the worst time to bring it back, though, because we're entering a drought after tonight. But it's... Chopper says, I just need another Rebels nod. I feel like there could be something, because there's, you know, when we're on Yavin and Rogue One, you know, we get that General Syndulla page over the loudspeaker. So maybe we could get, like, name drops or something. I don't know. The survivors are the friends we made along the way. Frick, Edwards. You're right. Dang. Yeah, there probably were none. Probably were none. They probably trained the spiders to run the mining equipment. They work from sun up to sundown after all. You know what? Leave it to the Empire to not just slaughter an entire population, but then employ animal abuse afterwards. That would be in character for them. Will we see Kino Loy? I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm feeling like we could potentially, if we learn that they imprison any remaining Gormans and just threw them in some, you know, Imperial prison camps somewhere or something like that. If Kino somehow made his way back to prison or got caught, I imagine, you know, if he can't swim. I don't know. Emoji rain is gone but never forgotten. Deep cut ADHD. Yeah, I don't know. So much could still be happening. Zeb is at Yavin, maybe Dirty Hawks. I don't know if we're gonna see him though, but there is another way out. What was the alternative way out? I don't know. No, I think it almost is more heartbreaking not knowing, you know, what happens to Kino. Potentially. I don't know. This isn't beer. No. I should have... Holy frick. It actually kind of looks like that in certain lighting. No, y'all, could you imagine? Oh my god. Oh my god. No, sorry. Oh, sorry, Joshua. That just cracked me the frick up. No. I didn't realize. I did not realize that in this lighting it does. Y'all, I'm not that cool. It's also only... well, it's not even 1 p.m. here. No. This is not... Oh, Sorry, I've been disclaiming because I was so high energy and hyper and like probably seemed overactive and caffeinated. This is not beer. I did not realize the more I've been drinking it, the more it looks like that in that lighting. Y'all, I'm honored that you thought I was that cool. Like, rock with it. Do whatever you want. I'm honored that you thought I was that cool that I'd be out here. I do not drink beer IRL to begin with, so I'm savoring for a hot second that some of y'all thought I was cool enough to be doing that. Not only just in general, but here on a live stream and here at 12:45 p.m. Pacific time. This is flavored. Do y'all know those like water drops? I think the brand is like Mio. It's because I'm a freaking child and I hate the taste of just unflavored water. So that's why it's flavored water, I swear to God. But earlier, I forgot. Every time I've had this, and it, Jesus, really looks like a beer now. Dang, I probably should have thought about that. It's a new flavor. What is this? Strawberry pineapple or something like that? I didn't know what color it was going to be, and it came out orange. But I really didn't know it was going to look like that on stream. And, I've been saying, y'all, it's not soda, I swear. Because I came into this so freaking overly hype and energized that I was like, don't worry, y'all, I'm not further pumping caffeine into my veins. In Germany, it's normal at any time. Yeah, I'm glad this is a judgment-free zone. Oh, it's pronounced Mayo, says Iron Patriot. Thank you, because I've been out here saying Mio this whole time. Okay, sorry, that just took me out. As a German, I don't understand the daytime drinking argument. Well, for you guys, this might as well be water. If it was a beer, I swear to God it's not. Okay, this is gonna get demonetized. All right, let's end this poll with Clea. Okay, so most people think she's the first person that majority think that she will survive. Let's get Vel. If my money's on anyone, it's her. Although that could be a really interesting, you know, the only thing I think, not the only thing her death could summon, but that would be crazy tragic for Mon. Especially now that they're going to be seeing each other more often and, you know, they're in it together now. I'm judging you for not drinking beer, says Nico. Maybe next time. Hey, maybe later. Like I said, we're still going live later. We still got all day and night. And when we go live later, it will be after 5. It's 5 p.m. somewhere. It actually probably is. For our European friends, it's probably close enough. Ooh, post-credit scene is Clea and Vel surveying the prospects. Maybe. I think Vel is unfortunately toast because, as she said in the last episode, she's getting reckless. Dang, catching Z's. But that's the whole reason she was taking a break. She was like, I had to dial it back. I had to check myself. I think she's going out, says Charlie. Well, that's how you know. If Charlie thinks she's done, maybe. It's gonna be a long night. Amen. In a good way, Daddy Josh. How long do we have until the episode drops? My keg's getting empty. We still have 6, almost, no, 5, no, 6. It's 5. Maybe there is something in there because I can't do basic math. Drops at 6 Pacific time. Now, do y'all remember? We can never be too sure because do you guys remember when the Clone Wars finale? At the time, that was still before they were doing the most random time drops back then. Like, things would drop at like 3 a.m. Eastern time. Do y'all remember that in the early days of Disney Plus before they finally got in the schedule of like, thank gosh, okay. I know it's a very Americentric schedule, but when they changed it to like 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Eastern, I was like, thank God. So I'm sorry because I know that screws everybody else in the process. And originally, I think everybody else had a pretty good release time because it would be like at 3 o'clock in the morning for us originally. Do you guys remember this? And easy on your water. Y'all aren't gonna believe me because I've been acting crazy this whole stream. I literally opened up this stream like, hey y'all, and was freaking out. So that's okay. I accept. When do I usually have my reactions out? Goal is to have them tomorrow. Goal is to have at least a few of them out. Goal is to have them all done before Friday. If I can edit. I got into a good groove, y'all, this week. I was editing at the speed of light. I think I gave myself carpal tunnel. I literally had like a sore forearm from just like typing, but Do you guys remember that when shows came out? It was at least for the Clone Wars finale. All of this is to say, when that aired, it was supposed to air at like 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And I used to live on the East Coast at the time. So I was there waiting up all day. And then Tom texted me and he was like, oh my God, it's out. And at this point, it was only 1 a.m. or even midnight. It might have been earlier. They dropped it like 3 hours early. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would never put it past them because they've done it before. Do you guys remember that? I swear I'm not making this up. The Clone Wars finale, they just dropped it out of nowhere because I was crying in fetal position way before 3 a.m. And then probably didn't sleep that night. Jay's here. Let's get it. Thank you so much for being here. I would have Tony oversee all the more adult Star Wars productions to make sure the writing and tone are consistent. Not all of Star Wars has to be adult, though. Animation is doing good in that sense. I agree. And I think, though, the Maul show could tap into a little bit more dark than we've seen in the animation, but we'll find out. Okay, dang. Clay is pretty excuse me, Vel. Vel is pretty split, with the majority of folks anticipating her survival. Who's next? Who else could be on the chopping block? Throw out who we should pull about next. Oh, I guess Willman. There's no way. I think maybe Willman will be fine because I thought he was going to be toasting Gorman, but he came back. Against all odds, I really thought he was done for, or that we would never know his fate either. And that's what I feel like we could still be in for, like, no closure with some of these characters. Oh, Dedra, good call, Ezra. You know, that's one thing about Kino Loy. Like, it's tragic, but also it's like, you may never know what happens, and that's just the way it is. You know, like, I feel like we could still be due for, I guess that's the case with, you know, like, Cara Rylance, all these other folks on Gorm, and it's like, did they make it out or not? You might never know. Next poll, actually, will Kat survive the finale? True, ADHD. True. Is this Howard Stern's burner account, AD? No, I'm kidding. Joking, I'm joking. Okay, Dedra. Survives or toasts? I'm gonna put my money on her surviving too. Because I think it could be a worse fate to live with the consequences. Kino Loy has a 0.000001% chance of survival. Will might survive, says the doctor. I agree. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, well, frick. Dedra, most of y'all think she's toast as well. I don't know. Dedra isn't making it out of this. I'm not sure. Y'all, I think she could. Here I am saying maybe everybody. I'm deluding myself. This is not good. I literally came off of last week and I was like, I did nothing to emotionally prepare. I need to remedy that. I can't go in like a rookie this time around. I have to be on my A game, prepared, keep my guard up, watching R6 because everybody's going to be dropping like flies. And here I am trying to convince myself every possible scenario in which each of these people could realistically survive, to the point that even I'm like, Luthen's gonna live. This is having the reverse effect of what I intended, which was to get locked in, get my head in the game, prepare. And if anything, I'm doing the opposite and just enabling my own denial. I'm out here like, nah, maybe they can be fine. And you're all like, no, they're toast. No, they are burnt ciabatta bread. They're a French bread, deep dish pizza. They are toasted into oblivion. No, I'm just not prepared, I guess. Nothing can mentally or emotionally prepare me. And now I'm even more like, anything could happen and what the frick could happen. Like, I'm so uncertain going into this finale because Gorman being the big, everything was working towards that this season, and you knew it was going to be brutal and tough, but I never fathomed how bad it was going to be. Now that we've seen that, and I'm still not over it, I still haven't processed it, I'm almost even more scared for, like, well, what could they still have in the chamber? What could still be in store? Because there I was, everything had been working to that. The whole season has been bracing your palate to be freaking emotionally wrecked by the massacre on Gorman, and even when it happened, it was so much freaking more than I bargained for. So, what could that mean for the finale? I think I'm just even more unprepared. Ay, ay, ay. I wonder what happens to Mon's family. Probably not good things, says ADHD. Maybe we'll learn about that. I don't know. Because I bet, I don't know. Would she even know what their fate was? Like, would they even be able to have contact with her? I feel like they've maybe, if anything, been taken as hostages, like as bait, leveraged to dangle over her to try to get her to reveal, I don't know, where their base is, who else, other senators, who she could be in cahoots with. Goldman, thank you for being here. Do you think they'll do a post-credit scene acknowledging Cassian's death, whether that'll be Bix or someone else? I feel like they could. I don't know. I really do feel like the more I think about it, this could bleed into not just Rogue One, but even following, what happens on Scarif. There could... I don't know. I'm not sure. Is this... Yeah. So I was gonna say, it could go two ways. I know a lot of people, everyone's theorizing here, like, we'll get a heart-wrenching, satisfying post-credit scene with Bix, and if she has her and Cassian's child, I'm still not sure about that, but we'll get something acknowledging that she's living a happy life, in spite of the sadness, in spite of the tragedy, the loss of Cassian. I feel like it could also go a completely different direction, though, and show, like, the Imperial fallout, like, because they're freaking pedal to the metal as well. Prepare a boarding party, like, they're ready to freaking snap in, segue right into New Hope. So, like, we could see, like, this loss for this Rogue One is a big loss for them. The plans got out and they had to torch their own base. So I don't know. But perhaps it'll have a different tone, because the post-credit scene of season 1, with the birth of the Death Star and everything, the realization that this whole time Cassian's been working on the very thing that will destroy him, that is very, like, daunting and looming and foreboding. Perhaps this will have a hopeful twist. There's no way. I don't know. Again, I'm in the minority. A lot of y'all think that Dedra's toast as well. You know what, Jacob? Actually, really good point. Would they spoil Rogue One for people in the future who are watching chronologically? Good caveat. Actually, that's a really good point. They might not do that. Because I think this show and the buzz around it and just the sheer word of mouth and hype online has probably drawn in a lot of people who've never seen Rogue One. And probably have, because Rogue One, going into it, it's like, how would you know that this is a Star Wars movie, So that is a really good point. They might not do anything to ruin that. Matthew Snyder, thank you so much. I just found your channel after the Andor live stream this morning. Good stuff. Thanks for being here. Welcome, welcome. You picked the best time to join us because we're just piggybacking off of that hype. Pre-gaming, carrying on into the evening here as we just count down the hours. So thank you for joining. A lot of you guys think Sammy, the post-credit scene is going to be Bix carrying her child with green hair too. No, I don't know. I feel pretty steadfast that Bix didn't need to be with child to get up and leave. I think she was very much convinced on her own. I think her feelings about Cassian were a strong enough motivator, and she didn't necessarily need to be pregnant or anything else or any other sort of collateral to be forced to have to make that choice. I'm gonna end the poll here. A lot of y'all also think Dedra's toast. So I think the only person who was pretty in the clear for survival that you guys voted for was Clea. I forget all the poll results. Bad vibes for everybody. I hope we see Jen right at the end of the final episode. Maybe. That's the one thing that is, like, it's gotta, like, to be Felicity and watching all of this, like, I know obviously Rogue One is her story, and this is now everything that precedes that. But that's gotta be tough. I feel like there's gotta be some Jyn Erso name drop mention, even Galen Erso, y'all. Like, I feel like there has to be something, or maybe even Edu. Like, perhaps we get Krennic on Edu because they're really in the thick of it, you know, with their engineering and whatnot. I don't know. Dirty Hawks. As Ramsay Bolton would say, if you think this is a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. No, no, no. Frick. Okay, y'all, don't let me delude myself. Hold me accountable. Do not let me sit here and think that this is gonna end happily. Clock me. Like, get me locked in. Hold me to it. Because this has not done anything to mentally prepare me. If anything, I've just been out here trying to convince myself, talk myself into all these rabbit holes of ways that people are gonna be fine. Yeah, what's Krennic doing these last 3 episodes? He's cooking. He's getting ready, so... Oh, we're gonna see Bodhi tonight? That could be plausible. That could be happening. I don't know. Even just a Galen Erso name drop. I always fantasized about him having a cameo in this show, even if it doesn't come to fruition. But y'all, okay, it might not be crazy, you guys, because Mads Mikkelsen was at Star Wars Celebration Japan. Like, what was he doing there? You know? Not to say it wouldn't have been fitting for anyone can go. Literally, whoever's up for it, I guess. I don't know how they coordinate and schedule, you know, the guests. I imagine it also is very much dependent on, you know, their routine or what shows are coming out. But, you know, Diego Luna was there. Alan Tudyk was there. The whole freaking Andor cast was there. But Mads Mikkelsen was there for photo ops and signings and whatnot. I don't think they mentioned, I'm trying to remember when he came out at the end of the day one day on the live stage. And they might have been trying to pick his brain, I think, as to whether or not we would see him in this character again. And they obviously can't divulge much. They're sworn to secrecy. Borgullet will know. The doctor. I am hoping for a Borgullet cameo. Now that y'all mention it, show me Borgullet looming, waiting in the wings, preparing to strike. That would actually be sick. But I feel like I don't know. Just we were trying to hypothesize what could Mads Mikkelsen's presence mean at Star Wars Celebration, if not potentially an appearance in this show. I don't know. And I don't think that would take anything away from it. Like, yeah, I think if we saw Palpatine, if we saw Vader, that's kind of in a realm of disbelief for the rest of the direction this show has gone, where they have really, truly, I think, prioritized just, again, establishing the grip of the Empire. The show has gone above and beyond in, I think, re-establishing the Empire as an actual threat, like an actual intimidating, horrific, you know, painting them in the light in which they deserve. This season in particular has pulled no punches, as we know. And so I don't think it is necessary for Vader or Palpatine to appear, and if anything, it would not feel like it's out of left field, but it's like, we don't need that. You know, just by the sheer mention of the Emperor or even Palpatine's name, when they name drop him in this show, they can build enough just by the mere mention of them. And they do more withholding them than they would if they were to show us, you know, spoon feed us. Here's Palpy. I don't think it's the same with Galen, though. Like, if you were to show us Galen Erso, or I don't know. I think it could work. Chopper says Galen could possibly meet up with Krennic on an update or a hologram call on the progress of the Death Star. You're right, Chop. That could work, and that wouldn't feel like gratuitous or anything. Krennic Galen scene, I could see it, says Sal. Yeah, I could see it too. Maybe. And it puts a little bit of a twist on it, knowing that at this moment right now, actually, probably where we're going to be, Galen's out here sending Bodhi, to go find Saw Gerrera, deliver this message. Like, he's out here actively self-sabotaging. But that could be interesting to see him, report to Krennic and, act the part. Act like this devoted servant. But thank you so much for being here, RF Alkadir TV. I'm so sorry, I probably botched your username. Saw and heard your question on the recent Andor live. Well, thank you for joining us over here. Gilroy's got an eye and here on the YouTube channels. He watched your reaction to episode 8. That was so nice to hear. I was literally shaking, y'all. Like, I literally screeched. This day is just gonna go down in history on this channel. It's just, what a crazy day. It's been, that was wild. But now that I know, we'll see if I'm sobbing my eyes out again tonight. But I'm gonna get my act together, because if Tony's watching, I'm not gonna embarrass myself like I did, just crying like a literal, y'all. I was telling Tom, I was like, I have not cried that uncontrollably since I was probably a baby or like a child. Like, genuine, just like making yourself hiccup like with sobs. Like, did anybody else when you were a kid have parents like when you were in the throes of like a hysterical crying, and you would get to that point where you're like you can't even breathe or talk, and your parents would be like, you're gonna make yourself sick? Did anybody else's parents say that? That's the state that I was in, and I was like, I have not been reduced to this hysteria since I was like a baby, probably like a kid. It was crazy. So learning that Tony Gilroy has witnessed that. Amen. Do not stop your emotions. That's your reaction, and that's valid. Thank you. Yes. That's what I told myself in that moment, because I was like, oh my God, I'm about to get roasted. Like, are people going to judge me for crying this much? Or they're just going to click off the video? Because also so much of the plight of being a reactor, it's like the freaking easiest job in the world, let's be real. But a recurring theme is people questioning the validity or the genuine authenticity of your reactions, or whether it's forced or real crying or not. And unfortunately, I think I've received that even more so after people learn that I'm an actor or, aspiring actor. When they learn that I have a resume, they're like, oh, this chick's an actress. Of course she's faking it. Chop's right, though. I did cry pretty hard in Kenobi clone edits that I watched years ago. Was it comparable or more? Maybe, because I was thinking, I was like, I think the last time I cried this hard was maybe the Kenobi finale after we got Qui-Gon Jinn. And at that point, I did turn off the camera. I gave like zero commentary in hindsight after that happened. I had like 1 minute left of commentary, and then I turned off the camera. And I wanted to do the same here after episode 8, but I was like, well, I have to go film a whole separate reaction to episode 9 anyway, so I might as well keep the ball rolling. I don't care if you cry, Cat. Thank you. The real ones here don't care. And I'm gonna take a rebrand. I should have credited who mentioned this in the comment section. I think I made a community post immediately after I watched the episodes last week, like, brace yourselves for the ugly cry, y'all. And somebody in that post said, more like gorgeous cry. And that's what I'm gonna rebrand it to. So prepare for the gorgeous cry tonight. One of the episodes coming out. I think we still got 5 hours. I think 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Unless they surprise us, which I don't think they will. But yes, all of this is to say, I'm just grateful that that reaction did not get as ripped to shreds as I was bracing myself for. It hit the right audience, because depending on the show, sometimes it doesn't hit who I need it to. Like, unfortunately, I think, like, for example, season 1 of The Rings of Power, those videos only seemed to be watched by a few actual real fans who were enjoying the show, and then the rest were just folks who hated it and were just looking somewhere to vent and, critique my positive reception of the show. But then season 2 of Rings of Power really opened up and hit, like, yes, actual fans of the show. And so it was great. So it's like, you never know. It's like, all right, are my haters going to find this, or are the genuine folk going to find this? But luckily it resonated. I loved all the comments that were like, I'm a grown man and I still cry. I was like, thank God. Phew. I don't think I'll ever be able to watch those episodes again without crying. And like I said, Tom rewatched them just casually this weekend. I was like, what are we doing? I'm still barely processing this. And I was shaking on the couch all over again. So it's the same way with like the Clone Wars finale. I'm never gonna not cry for that, you know? So it will just always, I don't think it will ever hit. It's 4 a.m. in Australia. Is that what it currently is now? Or is that when the episodes are dropping, MD Luffy? 5 hours. Time to freeze myself in ice until then. Literally. I know. I feel like even if I... Like, that's why I'm like, I might just be pulling an all-nighter tonight. I just can't think about anything else. How the heck am I going to be able to watch this and go to sleep? I just need to get out and start pumping out the reactions. Like, I think it's pretty clear when people are faked or forced crying, and your crying was very genuine. Weird compliment. This is not weird at all, Chop. Thank you so much. One way or another, people were crying their eyes out or just dropping some tears, fighting them. I just went silent for a moment, like in disbelief, literally. I usually like never let the full credits play through like that because I just pretty much get right to my commentary if I have thoughts. But that was one time where I was like, oh my God, I need these credits to be longer. I gotta get it together. I was emotionally drained after those episodes, for real. And I've still been. It's just been a crazy freaking week, y'all. Like, I've just been operating, like I said, we went to Star Wars Celebration and I was like, I just have to get through Celebration and then I can crash and then I can like regroup and lock in and it'll calm down from there. Holy frick, no. Like, was I an idiot? If your crying was fake, then that is some Viola Davis level acting, literally. No, I did not get a single comment on that video, which I was amazed, appalled that there was not one comment I can say, y'all, that someone accusing me of crocodile tears, because my whole face was wet. I literally looked like shit. I looked so bad. Pardon my French. But I think it was pretty undeniable. Like, I didn't even realize it until after I went back and watched the footage. I was like, dear God. So that's why we're not making our same mistake tonight. We're gonna have tissues. What the frick was I saying? Oh yeah, Japan was crazy, but I was like, let's just get through that, and then I can just, you know, things will calm down. No, if anything, things. What a freaking just past week has been. Just to paint a quick picture for y'all. Last Tuesday, I woke up and I always check my email first thing in the morning. Gasp, language cat. Y'all know it's real when I forget to censor myself. I always check my emails, and it's by the grace of God. Here's what was happening, y'all. This is a complete sidebar, quick pivot, unrelated to Star Wars at all, but I posted my video because I'm a freaking metalhead and wanted to make that video for like the upcoming Sleep Token album, which, if you're a Sleep Token fan and a Star Wars fan, this is crazy freaking time to be alive. I'm overstimulated as frick. My come down is going to be crazy. But then, may the force be with you, Matthew. Thank you for being here. So I was already lurking in my emails, refreshing, just waiting to hopefully get one that I had actually been picked to go to their listening party for what was happening in LA. Because I knew it was going to be random, but I was like, please, like, I need that. I feel it in the ether, like, but I didn't get any, like, I wasn't getting an email. Like, I was like, it's not going to happen. It's only by the grace of God, because of that, because I had entered that Sleep Token contest to try to get to, just not even contest, just lottery, luck of the draw, to go to their listening party before their album came out, that I was even checking my emails. And I don't usually check where my like sponsorship offers go, because I get a lot of them, and a lot of them are for like just random things that I would never plug, like Do you want to promote our car charger on your some of the product emails that I have gotten are the most random things. It's like, how would I even uh plug this on the channel? So I usually am not checking like my sponsored emails and stuff like that. And a lot of them I also just think are scams, like not real. Like I just have my head on a swivel constantly, like, am I being scammed? It was by the grace of God that I was checking my email because I was still hoping and praying that I was going to get something from Sleep Token, that I saw this email to collaborate and be part of that live stream this morning, and I was like, holy frick. Like, y'all should have seen, I was doing double takes. I was like, is this a scam? This is too good to be true. Like, maybe I am. Thankfully, I was not scammed in either Star Wars or Sleep Token arenas, thankfully. But like, that's how I usually am. Like, it was just like, oh my god, thank god I checked my email first thing that morning. So y'all can imagine, like, this has just been a crazy freaking week. And then mere hours later, y'all, I got that email to partake in that live stream today with Star Wars. And then 2 hours later, not even, I got that email from Sleep Token saying, it wasn't from Sleep Token, it was from whoever was operating the listening parties, that I could go to the listening party. And so this, y'all, has just been a crazy frick. Cheers to this crazy week. Again, this really does freaking look like beer in this lighting. You know what? I don't know if I'd get demonetized if I had that in a solo cup. Then I could probably be drinking real stuff. Anyway, all of this is, I feel like there's just gonna be a crash that comes down tonight. Dang, I just saw the viewfinder. It really freaking does look like beer. I'm not that cool, y'all, I swear. Oh, thank you for holding our hands on the last ever live Andor day. Well, that's why I was like, I cannot think about or do anything else. So that's why I was like, let's just go live, let's party, let's celebrate, let's just savor this for as long as we can, because within a mere hours it's gonna be over. Yeah, Sal, thank you so much. Epilogues. Bix brings Cassian's brick on Ferrix next to his parents, and Bima would be with her. I would cry at that. Holy shiz, Sal. You're on to something. But how would she get his brick? Because you need ashes, no? Okay, I saw some people theorize. Let's break down the science, y'all. Everyone take a shot with Cat in honor of Sleep Token and Star Wars. Amen, y'all. Drink whatever you have. Like I said, this is water, I swear to God. I swear, it is strawberry pineapple flavored water, because like I said, I'm a freaking wuss and I can't drink real water. Highly recommend though. It's been great in improving my water intake. I'm usually severely dehydrated, and this has been great if you're also a child like me and just can't drink regular water. Brasso is a hunk of meat. He might be 2 bricks. Okay, but let's break down the science here. So help me out, y'all. Scarif. As we know... Now, hang on a second, actually. They were just testing, correct? What they were doing on Jeddah, for example. When they... that place. They targeted Jeddah City, correct? But they didn't... No, the whole... Hang on. Not me going to watch Rogue One. The whole planet kind of does... get destroyed, right? It wasn't just the main city. The whole planet? And that was a small, like, moon as well, right? What happened to Jeddah? After Rogue One... Okay, Jeddah was heavily damaged, but not entirely destroyed like Alderaan. Right, because they were only just doing a test, right? Like, they were pulling some punches. They weren't going full pedal to the metal, like, testing it out. That was their test, but they weren't going all out. The Death Star's blast created catastrophic conditions, including lava flows and atmospheric storms, due to the moon's core being crapped. Sorry, cracked. The Empire continued... The moon's core was crapped, y'all. The Empire continued to exploit Jeddah for kyber crystals. Okay. So it was probably, though, uninhabitable. But all of this is to say the whole planet wasn't destroyed, correct? Now, what they did on Jeddah is exactly what they did on Scarif, correct? They just targeted, get rid of our entire base there. Like, better safe than sorry. Let's consult Wikipedia again. Let's consult the archives. What happened to Scarif, right? It also wasn't like what they did on Alderaan. Alderaan was their first time destroying an entire planet, correct? Scarif was severely damaged by the Death Star's super laser. The blast Can I read? Maybe this is. The blast obliterated the Citadel Tower, dissipated Scarif's planetary shield, and caused the oceans to boil. Jesus Christ. Holy shit! Burning parts of the planet's surface. While the planet itself was not destroyed, it was left in a state of disrepair. So, like, could anyone have even stepped foot on there to try to go to the beach and get some sand that might have had Cassian's remains? There were no remains, y'all. So how could they get a brick? Sorry, I had to just take a scientific detour to see actually what the plausibility. It was just a flesh wound. Slurring her voice. You sure? No, y'all. This is I'm mixing up my words because I'm just going off of pure adrenaline in life. Not good swimming weather for a beach day. Literally. So, yeah. Could you literally imagine the tsunamis that the rest of Scarif experienced? Probably boiling. That's a crazy thought. Boiling oceans. That's not normal for vacationing. That's crazy. So could anyone have even stepped foot on there to just survey the damage? Like, even Imperials, like, even to try to go and reclaim anything at their base, because their whole Citadel had all their freaking archives and shiz in there. Yeah, they probably had that backed up on a terabyte somewhere. I am drunk on Andor hype, Birchard. You know me. You get me. That's what's happening. This is just, I'm going off of sheer vibes in life right now. And hydration, I swear. There's no brick for Cassian. A boiling tsunami. Oh my gosh. Well, that's what I'm curious now. Was it the blast or was it a boiling tsunami that got Jyn and Cassian? Because it's basically, the horizon just basically, they get absorbed into this bright white light. Is that a... No, it would have taken... The tsunami wouldn't have been that instantaneous. That was definitely from, like, the blast. Oh my god. I hate talking about this. It was crazy. But yes, Stanley's Jeddah and Scarif are both probably uninhabitable. Like Gorman. Just crazy. Y'all, I'm serious. I do not drink much to begin with, IRL. But I certainly am not. I still am like a freaking... I do not drink beer, of all things. You can ask anybody in my real life. They'd probably be laughing hysterically right now if they thought y'all perceived me to be that cool. Vaporized, no remains. Ugh. Star Wars science lessons with Rogue One and Andor. My god, what if there were two skeletons? What if we get the Owen and Beru 2.0 and it's Cassian and... No. This is the part that we have devolved into now. Prediction. Bix has a kid in the post credits. All right, y'all. Next poll. I know we were polling on survivors. Now we're polling on children. Will Bix have Cassian's child? But again, based on the stream, based on the things they were talking about with Bix, I feel like we might not have seen the last of her. So what could she be up to? That's why I'm like, perhaps this could bleed into Rogue One and we see that she's happy. Maybe even if it's just her before... Oh, frick, that could actually be tragic. If we see Bix, and if they have a child, in some sort of post-credit scene or, before the finale, and we see that she has, like, this little outpost or this little nice place somewhere, a treehouse elsewhere in this nice peaceful planet. And if she has a kid, like if we see her happy, and this is like before Rogue One happens, before Scarif, before Cassian dies, like that might be even more tragic in a way because you know that she's still holding out hope and believes that she could like be seeing Cassian again. Oh God, Frank! I think that could be worse. Again, right, Chopper. I'm just curious if we'll see her at all. I really thought her sign off was, oh my God, we're never going to see her again. Cassian's never going to see her again, and we're never going to see her again, which is part of the reason I was sobbing my eyes out. But I don't know, the kind of teasers they were dropping this morning on the live stream with Tony and Audrey, I was like, this could maybe not be the end for her. But wherever we see her, we're following her separately. I don't think she gets back. She doesn't rendezvous, I don't think, with Cassian at all. Holy frick, unless... Okay. The only scenario I could see them being reunited is if Bix was somehow apprehended or arrested and like her identity was revealed and it was known that she's, you know, because we know, like, as we saw with their visas and whatnot, they're already hinting at the fact that it's not safe for refugees really anywhere in the galaxy. And, you know, if she goes somewhere and tries to live a peaceful life but isn't legal, what if she were to get exposed and like caught and then taken in for questioning, and then she's already in the system? Like, they realize who she is. If they trace her back to Dr. Gorst's murder, like, murder's not the correct term. The justice, the vengeance that she enacted on Dr. Gorst, like, that is the only scenario in which I could see Cassian and her coming, their paths crossing again, because that would be severe enough if it was learned, like, oh, Bix was captured, or they learn that she's in the prison system somewhere and they have to, like, go get her out because she knows everything about Yavin. Like, that's what's... The stakes are really freaking high now here, because at this point, if anybody gets captured or, like, leaves and doesn't come back, that's a liability, because if they were to ever be brought in for questioning, they can reveal where the rebel base is. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. I'm just thinking, my brain's racing. No. What if Bix moves to Jeddah? Stop. That would be sad as frick. No. This show has a lot of tragedy. They would never do that. They can't go that far. I don't know what would hurt more, Cassian and Bix seeing each other again before he dies, or them never crossing paths. That's what I think is gonna happen. But again, everything this morning alluded to maybe they're not done with Bix. But I don't know. Just let Bix and Willman live happily ever after, please. I feel like Willman had his brush with death on Gorman, and so the fact that he survived, I think, means he's okay. I think he's a lock for survival. But most of y'all... Actually, no, it's pretty split. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised. Will Bix have Cassian's child? It's almost 50-50 split, yes or no. I'm voting no. If I can, I'm locking in money's on... I think she's just happy somewhere doing her own thing. And it's still equally tragic. A lot of... There's been a lot of discussion in here, though, theorizing that Dedra also could have been with child. I don't know about that. Edie raising Cyril Jr. No, I low-key think of Bix... or, excuse me, now I'm getting all of them mixed up. If Dedra was pregnant with Cyril's child and had to raise that child on her own, she would never let Edie know about its existence. She literally has no reason to stay in touch with Edie. I think after she saw the way Edie treated Cyril, she would freaking never let that kid near her. So, yeah. I don't know. Willman's gonna repopulate the galaxy on his own. Literally, this guy has a girlfriend on every planet. Everywhere they go. He's got Riz. Is it possible that Bix went back to Ferrex? Highly doubtful. None of them will probably ever be able to go back there. I don't think. That's why I'm like, where would anywhere be safe for her to go? Because surely she's in Imperial records. Like, it was only by the grace of God, like, Cassian interfering that she got out, even. Like, because she had information on Axis. Like, she was a stronghold. Like, she was a source of a treasure trove for them of who's Axis, who else is all involved in this. We know that if Dedra is still stone cold now that she's no longer, assigned to Gorman, if she's back to her own devices and she can continue to pursue Axis, she knows that Bix got away. They know that Dr. Gorst is toast. So, like, okay, who's responsible for that? Bix is very much still not a liability, but there's still a huge target on her back. So that's why it's like, would she even be safe if she went anywhere? Is there anywhere safe for her to go? She's had 2 girlfriends, and y'all are acting like he's a man whore. Well, he just seems to have a new girl everywhere he goes. He did love the Gorman girl. No, for real. The fact that he was willing to die to go back for her was crazy. So that's when I was like, okay, this is real. And it's clear that he's been, I think, communicating with them and also maybe working part-time on Gorman, like with them, working underground, because there was a sense of familiarity there. He wouldn't have gone back for a girl he just hung out with one night, I don't think. Unless he's that much of a lover boy, but I don't think that would have been the case. With everything that Bix has gone through, I just need her to have a happy ending. Someone needs to have a happy ending on this show, for God's sake. Literally, right? Like, is that too much to ask for? Like, is that too naive to think that somebody's gonna be okay? Like, I felt sorry for Dedra. She didn't want to go through that, and you could tell. I agree, Emery's. That's why I feel like she might not defect, but I could see her, like, handing in her resignation and then pursuing Axis on her own if they don't reassign her to that. But Carter, thank you so much. No way Dedra gets maternity leave, or that too. She's out here on maternity leave, working on vacation, trying to pursue Axis, because I don't think she's gonna quit in that regard. I don't know. I feel like every prediction I'm just making it's going to be in vain, because they're going to somehow still find a way to surprise us and shock us. I don't know. You're asking too much. It's Andor. No one is happy in this world. Low down, unfortunately. I think you're right. Nobody can have nice things, especially in Andor. We have, I can't do math, 5.5 hours left? No, 4.5 at this rate. Yes, 4.5 hours. Wow, y'all. Can you tell I don't know math or science? Yeah. Chill Will knows all the ladies. Gotta head out. Thanks for joining us, Sal. I'm sure we'll maybe see you again later tonight. We might go for a little bit longer here, folks. But fear not. We're gonna then take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather. I'm gonna collect myself. I do already feel like I've calmed down from earlier, like when we first went live, and I was just feeling crazy. Now that I've actually kind of faced the facts that everybody might die tonight, it's hitting me, the reality of our situation. So we've sobered up. We're starting to get locked in and prepare for the cold hard truth that might await us this evening, which is we're still in for complete, utter turmoil and heartbreak. Would y'all stick around if I went for a bathroom break? Speaking of, I hydrated too much. Pre-gamed too hard. But I still want to keep going. I don't want to cut this off. My goal is to go till like 3 p.m. because y'all are here. Literally, shout out. Thank you guys so much. Seriously, we've never broken. I don't think we have ever broken over 100 people watching on stream at one time, which I know doesn't even sound like that much. Like, you go to some streams, they had like over 6,000 people watching today on the Star Wars stream. That was crazy. So yeah, like 100 probably doesn't just go. 100 probably doesn't seem like that much. But literally, thank you. That's why I'm scared to leave. I'm like, oh my god, don't go. I'm gonna go take a quick bathroom break. I'm just literally gonna go back to the starting soon screen. So like, fear not. Don't be faked out. If anybody joins and doesn't know what's going on, fill them in. I'm gonna be quick. Go use the bathroom. Are you for real? Y'all. It's because we're hydrating. It's because we're pre-gaming. But I'm still trying to go for a few hours. I have nothing else to do other than think about this freaking show and this finale. We still have so much in store tonight, so much to debrief and potentially plan for. So fear not. Everybody go take a break, get a snack, get a drink, do whatever you gotta do. And I'll see you again shortly. Needed that. Thanks for staying, y'all. Thanks for sticking around. How do these 24-hour streamers, like these folks who just stream literally all day, every day, how do they do that? I don't know. Thanks for sticking around. Where were we? I just got back and it's over. It's not over. We're still here. We're going strong. We're going real strong now. Yes, the goal was, as I was saying earlier, I was maybe going to do, like, I was going to stream. We're obviously still doing Dork Discourse this evening, so I was like, maybe I'll just go live a couple hours earlier and just segue into that. But then after this morning, after that live stream on Star Wars, I was like, I can't do anything. This day is a wash, and so I just want to be here and pregame and soak in this energy and just savor the vibes. Like, it feels so good to be a Star Wars fan right now, doesn't it? Like, just this is crazy and it's fleeting. So I was like, let's just go celebrate together, and we'll stream for a few hours earlier in the day. maybe take a break, 3 p.m. Pacific here, 6, yes, math, 6 p.m. Eastern, before we then regroup a few hours later for, what the frick am I already saying? Dark Discourse. And then the show will come out. So it's gonna be, we still are here. We're here for the day, y'all. We're here for the long haul. Really enjoyed being here, chatting with you in the community here. It's a lot of fun. Chop, you literally have no idea. Your presence here makes this community better. Like, I'm still starstruck that you're even here. So thank you. Thank you so much. I still can't believe Star Wars had you on. That's actually, I still can't believe it, y'all. It's crazy. Like, it was just, yeah, it was just wild. Not even that they just had me on, but that Tony Gilroy freaking knew who the frick I was. Are you kidding? You're joking. Like, I will cease to exist out of sheer just brain blast. What is life? Can't believe we're alive right now. What a time to be alive. Just grateful to be here. What a time, y'all. Genuinely. You are one of us. Literally, like, that's how I felt, and it felt like we were all on there. Like, that's because I know I was just freaking saying all this sappy stuff at the end of our, which, shout out, I didn't even like follow up, and I'm sorry, I have to respond to the comments on that stream, but our 60K celebration that we did just this weekend, I haven't followed up even on that, but that was such an amazing time. But the sentiment still rings true, like, that this is our channel. This is, I do not just view this as my platform, because it's entirely like, it is because of you guys that this channel is even here, still going. It's still going strong. Like, the fact that I just started it, you know, recreationally as just a hobby when I was still in college to where it is now is because of you guys. Genuinely, like, y'all are the life source. Y'all are the glue. If Clea is the glue for Axis, you guys are the glue for this channel, genuinely. So that's why, just watching it this morning, I was just like, I was excited for all of us that it was happening, because it really felt like a win for everybody here. But yeah, it's just been a freaking agreed, Shop. Like, it has been such an amazing time to be a Star Wars fan, and I've never felt so invigorated, especially coming off of Star Wars Celebration, which, being in the live stream just even this morning on the Star Wars channel, kind of felt like that energy. Just everybody's happy, everybody's excited to be alive. It's just great all around. Good vibes, good energy. Everybody's loving Andor, you know, like, everybody who was there, like, seeing the love for this show over on that channel, and that everybody is already prematurely mourning the fact that it's gonna be over and done with tonight. It's just crazy. Like, it's so good to see the just like outpouring of love for this show. Heck yes, love it so much right now. Heck yes, Yoda the Hobbit, thank you for being here. Epic username always, by the way. So yeah, to then just be to get to be a part of that on the Star Wars stream, it was just mind-blowing. Like, just a cherry on top of already. I mean it genuinely. I've never felt, right back at you, Matthew, like, y'all are freaking amazing, and I've never felt more invigorated as a Star Wars fan. And I feel like I needed Celebration to open my eyes, because I've been doing this channel for 5 years now, up until literally last year, I think it was, when I first got to meet Charlie. I hadn't met anyone who watches this, except for those who were maybe at the Shards of the Past premiere, but that had been years before, and I hadn't had my channel by that point. The only I had met one person, y'all, who watched my videos, and it was somebody that I went to art school with. It was like somebody who knew me in real life, and they were like, "Oh my god, I found your YouTube channel," and I was like, I was like, "Oh, you did?" Because I was still like closeted about it at the time. Like, I don't know, wasn't as outwardly proud to be a YouTuber, I guess, as I am now, and I still hesitate to even use that word. When I heard pregame, I was thinking rum and coke. Well, do what you will. Drink what you can. Drink what you got. Pregames don't discriminate. I swear, YouTube. I swear to God. I'm playing into the joke, but please, YouTube, please. Please. YouTube algorithm, YouTube overlords. the YouTube deities who are watching this and are responsible for monetization, please. This is Mayo, as I have learned thanks to a kind subscriber here. I've been pronouncing it Mio. It is Mayo. It is flavored water drops. It is strawberry pineapple, hence the color. This is not what it looks like. This is not what you think it is. Let me joke. Let me let everyone think that I'm cool. But genuinely, this is... Please don't demonetize me. That one's for the overlords. That one's for the YouTube overlords listening through the ether. But yeah, drink what you got. We're here. We're camped out. We're ready. We're locked in. So whatever you got, start hydrating now because it is going to be a freaking long night. So hydrate, fuel yourself. Hydrate now so that your tear ducts have something to go off of later. That's the logic. You'll purge it later. Beer can also be considered flavored water. ... Oh, literally. Remember Anakin in that elevator before seeing Padme? I feel like that before the show. Literally, it feels like Christmas morning. But yeah, prior to last year meeting Charlie, I had not met like any of you guys here in person, and I was only just, you feel sometimes like you're just putting things out into the ether. Chopper, the feeling is mutual. I'm gonna frickin' find you at Star Wars Celebration 2027. I'm gonna look for all of y'all because I feel like hopefully more people are gonna be able to, at least more of the European audience, excuse me, well, I guess both European and American audience will be able to attend and go. So I'm gonna be on the prowl, just like lurking, waiting for y'all, especially you, Chop. I'll be looking for the Chopper merch from head to toe. But it is so amazing to actually meet people and be like, oh my god, you're real. And to see that, holy frick, the love for Star Wars is so real and palpable. Genuinely, y'all, granted, I was, as I said in the vlog for just our little day trip in Japan anyway, in Tokyo before Star Wars Celebration festivities began, I mentioned that I was so zen, so just on cloud nine and ecstatic and elated and just happy to be alive, and that it was such a rejuvenating trip because the first few months of this year for me were genuinely really not great. And just to paint a picture, like from the months of February through March and even April, I was like, I could cry on a dime, like that's how we were holding on. We were holding on by a thread. And so I was like, Celebration, it's gonna freaking rock my world, and it's gonna give me, it's gonna be amazing. And even at Celebration, I still, like, at all times felt like I could cry on a dime. Just not sadness at all. Sheer, just overwhelming happiness and just like shock and awe that the love is so overwhelming, so pure, just so die hard. Like seeing people who ride or die, who live for this, just showing up in the most epic cosplay ever, seeing whole families decked out in cosplay. Like, I'll cry just thinking about it because I was like, that's life goals. Like I saw this mom with her kids, and they were like, I guess, maybe middle school aged, and they all had this epic cosplay on, and I was like, I have this amazing experience now of like getting to watch Star Wars and share it all with you guys. But I cannot imagine how amazing that must feel to like be able to watch and share with your family and like get your kids into this franchise. Oh, it made me like, I'm getting emo just thinking about it because I was like, that's gotta be so special to like sit down as a family and watch this stuff. And I know so many of you guys here, I'm messing with the mic because I'm getting too excited. So many of you guys here have expressed that, like, you have this connection because you have kids who watch Star Wars and you watch the episodes together and you love watching it with your sons or daughters or, just whoever you're watching with. Like that, it just was so amazing. And that's why I've just been operating on cloud nine like ever since. And I was like, I gotta get off the internet and back into real life because that's where it's at. My dad and I bonded over Star Wars, like, for real. Like, I feel like everybody has somebody in their life that they fangirl about Star Wars with, and it tethers you to your family. I was so close to going to Japan. My birthday is the 19th, and it would have been amazing, but unfortunately it didn't work out. I hope 2027 will be my first celebration. I hope so too, Catching Seas, because it's amazing. Star Wars Celebration is the best in the world. Nothing beats this experience, literally. Like, I can't even put into words. Why LA? That's what I don't get. Oh, the prices, yeah. The prices here versus in Japan are definitely going to be a little bit different. I was having lunch for $7 in Japan. That Tom and I both. We were having lunch for 2 people for just $7 in Japan. LA, you're going to be spending $37. No, even more. That is going to be tough. Did I pick up any Japanese? No, and that's my one biggest regret, because usually when I travel, I feel very unequipped if I don't know the language. Like, I spent a summer studying abroad in Rome a few years when I was in college, and I, like, took Italian. I was like, I need to be not fluent, but close enough that if I don't have an English speaker nearby, I can communicate. Otherwise, I feel really lost and, like, unprepared. And unfortunately, like, life was just like this whirlwind leading up to Japan, and suddenly it was like, oh my God, we're going. Like, I was just so fixated on the Star Wars of it all that I forgot we were going to Japan. So unfortunately, it was like the day before our flight, y'all. I was packing my bag and watching this YouTube video of, like, phrases you should know to survive in Japan. And I was like, I still was so that was the one thing I wish I had done better, is actually learn the language. What do I think of the last 3 episodes? IMDb ratings, well deserved. And, like, I really feel like the word of mouth and the ratings for these last few episodes are gonna, like, spread like wildfire. You can already see it. Like, already other people on Twitter who are like, I've never watched a Star Wars, but I'm gonna watch this, and getting into this show just from the sheer hype around it and the praise for the writing and the character development and just the performances. Like, it's happening. It's happening. We're reaching the masses, y'all. And we don't gatekeep around here. Freaking let Star Wars be mainstream. I don't care. Let everybody should be watching this show. It's freaking historic. It's crazy. We are witnessing history. So yes, I'll be the last person to freaking sit here and gatekeep and say that this isn't real Star Wars. No, frick that. Frick, everybody should be watching this show. So I'm happy to see that the IMDb ratings are where they are. Where they deserve to be. I got my nephews into Star Wars. That's freaking amazing, Matthew. Oh my gosh. I wanted to name my son and daughter Anakin and Padme. Goals. Low-key, if I ever did have kids, I question whether I would give them Star Wars inspired. Y'all. I'm like, am I that in deep? Looking at London to LA flights. Literally. London to LA is tough, though. My gosh, I've done that a couple times, and it wears me out every time. It'll be worth it, though. It will be worth it. I've never been to a celebration. I will try to make it then, since it's closer to AZ. Oh, for sure. Hope to see you. I literally hope to see so many of y'all. Chop's going to university. Frick, yes. The best time of your freaking life. Enjoy. I'm just starting this fall to finally go towards what I genuinely want to do, which is video production and sound design. Holy shiz! And I hope even during that I could attend Celebration in 2027. Well, luckily that would be right around, I think it's early April. And it's at least a weekend. Now it's going to be 4 days in 2027, which is going to be crazy. But that's kind of nice, because in a way, if you miss the first day or so, like, you could still have 3 whole days. And y'all, even after 3 days in Japan, I was like, I was on my last leg. Like, I was juiced. I was tapped out. I was okay. Like, I can't even imagine having a 4th day. Granted, it does not help that my jet lag was so bad and I was just not sleeping. So I was literally just like going off of fumes and a prayer. But either way, hopefully, I feel like that's either way the timeline. Early April for some schools, depending on your program, that's like right around when finals / the semester for the spring could be ending. So maybe, fingers crossed. I hope so. I hope so. I would name my kid Greedo in anticipation of the costs of raising a child. Oh. FYI, I did not name them Anakin and Padme. It's the thought that counts, though. You thought about it. I'm sure they have amazing names either way. Oh, thank you for being here, Colin. It looks like Colin had to peace out. Enjoy the finale if we won't be seeing you later. Oh, you will join again for Dork Discourse. Let's get it. Let's get it. We'll catch you later. Peace from San Francisco. Have you ever been to Lucasfilm HQ? I have not. Tom has. And we really want to go to San Francisco, mainly to go do that. And low-key now there's a sense of urgency because we want to go to Alcatraz before they reopen it. Different story. So our time might be short in that department to go actually tour it before you can't even go do that anymore. So I would love to go to San Francisco and go, because you can actually do tours at Lucasfilm HQ, right? Tom, I think, just went in and looked in like the lobby a little bit and loitered around, but you can get an actual like guided tour there, can't you? Now I see why everyone in Japan is in good shape. All that walking, literally, it's crazy. But if I can't make it to 2027, I will make sure I'll be at the next one. I hope so. I hope so. Oh, you went to Alcatraz on a tour as a kid? It's really cool. I'm only just scared of the boat ride to get there because isn't that like shark-infested waters? But yeah, so maybe if we did ever go to Lucasfilm and like toured it, I would love to vlog whatever I could. So stay tuned because we're trying to go to San Francisco like soon. We've been freaking living out here for 5 years, and we've never been. So the lobby supposedly has the original New Hope Vader costume. I think it does because I think Tom took a picture of it, and the Luke Saber. Saber, gosh, I can't speak. I have seen them, and Vader is huge. Yes, I think that is one thing Tom was able to snap a pic of. James RBX, when does the episode come out? I think we have officially 4 hours and 5 minutes. Amen, light blinded fool. Yes, 4 hours and 5 minutes. Just make sure you're on the inside of the boat well, that would be the goal. I'm not swimming over there, that's for sure. But yes, and I feel like for LA, the cosplay, like, I'm gonna try to cosplay y'all. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Some of you gave us the idea. Somebody mentioned earlier doing Dedra and Cyril. I low-key catch me with platinum blonde hair, and I will do it. I will dye my hair, y'all. I will bleach the crap out of it and kill my hair for the next foreseeable future, for the next 10 years of my life. I will spend the next decade getting my hair back to a state of recovery and health because I'm going to bleach it. I'm going to go platinum blonde and I'm going to rep Dedra. I'll just be Dedra for all 4 days. Oh, I am for sure cosplaying, says Teddy Josh, right? Like the cosplayers were the coolest people there. Borg Gullet, for real, Charlie. Yes, we are going to start our recruitment process for a Borg Gullet cosplay. I do not yet know how we are going to construct it, to make it. But we're going to find out. Gamers Little Playground. Andor finale day. Literally best day ever. Cheers. This isn't real. I swear to God. I know I titled this a pregame. I swear to God, this is just water. It's flavored. But cheers. Whatever you got. Yes, I do not yet know how we are going to fabricate Borg Gullet. And his everything. His girl. What does Borg Gullet look like? Okay, hang on. I haven't watched Rogue One in a hot second. Borg Gullet. Are there any full images of his body? What the heck? Oh. Oh. Yeah, we don't even see the full extent of its body. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, I didn't realize Borg Gullet makes appearances in, like, the Dr. Aphra comics. Comics. Get it the frick together. Can I speak? Do I know the English language? This article from StarWars.com. Why Borg Gullet freaks me out more than anything else. Hang on, let's read this. And then we can study. Here we go. There we go. Borg Gullet will know the truth by Kelly Knox. Borg Gullet stands out, slithers out as the creepiest of all the things in a galaxy filled with strange and unusual creatures. What the frick is this? Oh, this is concept art. This looks like it could be freaking... Alright, Dune fans, y'all know what I'm about to say. This looks like it could be the God Emperor. He's just missing a face. But y'all know who I'm talking about. If you know Dune, this... Listen, if that franchise gets picked up and if they keep capitalizing on that, we could be seeing something real similar to this on screen in the near future. It's so slimy. Oh, so this is also concept art. Ew! Yeah, we would have to have lots of slime on standby. Somebody needs to just be on slime duty. Somebody has to just walk around with a slime bucket on hand at all times. We can't offer pay, but we can just offer you our thanks. Ew, what the frick is going on? Ew. Keep going. We don't have a lot of details about it, nor on our own. Flipping through the Rogue One Ultimate Visual Guide yields no clues. Yeah, what species? I guess I realized I don't actually know that much about it. The first time I saw it come out of the shadows in Saw Gerrera's hideout, I wished it had stayed there. Ew. Ew. Creatures in Star Wars looking to snack on our favorite heroes are definitely scary, but none have Bor Gullet's particular appetite and abilities. That's true, there's no defense. You gotta just let it happen. Blech. This might be harder than I thought. That's true, Bodhi, like... It took him hours. He was, like, dazed for hours. Ew. Okay, so... This, yeah, we don't really get a great view of it. I can't zoom in here. Let me zoom in, Star Wars. There we go. Okay. So we're definitely going to need at least 3 people operating the torso. Somebody potentially on miniature stilts or platform shoes to man the head. Actually, this looks really top heavy, so we might need several figures to do this. 1 person per tentacle, and you gotta just lay there and slither. And as I mentioned, 1 person with the slime bucket on standby. So we will be taking application. This is going to become a 10-person effort, so if that meets your credentials, if you're down to, if you're good at holding your breath, like if you don't need much oxygen access, and you can, you know, be wrapped up as a tentacle for several hours a day, it will probably break for lunch. I'd like to volunteer for slime duty. Yeah, whoever does the slime bucket, you'll probably have the easiest job. You'll be able to breathe, you can be out in the open, you can dress as one of Saw's, you know, whichever cosplay you want to do. You can be one of Saw's, you know, troops, and just follow us around. The other half of McBots, Tyler better be coming to the next celebration. Y'all, listen to this. Now that it's happened, and it's over, that's why we had a lot of tickets to resell, which we didn't resell a single one, unfortunately, by the way. It's fine. We bought tickets. I shouldn't say we, I should say Tom bought tickets for every single one of our siblings. None of them went. They all bailed on us. They're all fake. Fake friends, fake family. No, I can't blame them. They have lives. And y'all met Amber. Y'all have met Amber on the channel. She's appeared in a vlog. She's appeared in a live stream. She's a ride or die, and she was going to go with us. And she had a responsibility that definitely took priority over coming to Japan. But she was the one person who was signed, sealed, delivered, locked in. So now they freaking have to, they have no choice now. They don't have to get on a freaking plane and go that many hours. They have to just take a quick little plane across the US. to come here and come to LA. We're gonna freaking make them. They gotta make up. They gotta make up for lost time. But now they're all definitely jealous. Now that they saw that we've met, you know, Hayden. I was sending them... I think I sent them Chopper's screenshot that you actually sent me via Twitter, where you caught me looking up, like, gazing at Ryan Gosling when on Friday when I was at the live stage, somehow barricade. I sent that into my family group chat. I was like, look at this. One of my friends caught this. This could have been you all. And my mom was like, I'm fine. But in my efforts to try to make my siblings jealous. When does it start? We've got 4 hours. 4 hours, less than 3 hours and 56 minutes. Our time is nearing an end. We are going to get there. Our sanity is nearing an end. Our emotional wealth. Y'all, it might actually be really sad to come back and rewatch the happiness, the sheer joy, and just excitement that we had in this stream. And potential hours from now, we could be broken. We could be broken people all over again. But yes, this is true. You are my friend, Chop. Literally, I've had a friend crush on you since your page came on to Twitter. Since the invention, the birth of Chop on Star Wars Twitter, I was like, oh my god, genius. I want to be friends with this person. So yes, hopefully in 2027, our family can right their wrongs, prove their allegiances, and maybe they can pay their dues by serving as part of our Borgullet cosplay. Carrying the weight. We're gonna put them at the head. The top heavy, they can carry that. But if not, if I realize that there's no way that I can possibly fabricate Borgullet, since it does look like it, you know, that would leave a mess everywhere. You know, we'd probably have to do something like what I saw those two dudes doing who were operating the Tauntaun, which I caught in the vlog. There was one dude who was kind of, you know, standing by just drawing attention, being like, take pics. And the one guy who was just sitting on it the whole time, but they didn't move. It wasn't, you know, operational. They were just stable so that people could come and take pics. Which was like cool. There's different types of cosplay. There's layers to this culture. I've learned there's the people who do stuff like that, and then we'll just camp out somewhere as like for photo opportunities. So perhaps that's what we would do for Borgullet. So actually, if you were manning one of the tentacles, you would not have to move. You would just have to lay there. And actually, that might be a blessing, because if you've been to Star Wars Celebration, you know, that's all I wanted to, I just wanted to lay down, y'all. By the end of those days, oh my god, my feet were hurting. So, see it as a break. Don't see it as a chore. You would have the best job in the house. That way we wouldn't have to get the slime all over the convention center. Mithran here. You're so naive. We could be broken. We are going to be broken! You're doing exactly what I said. I said, put me in my place. Remind me. Don't let me get away with trying to be naive. Thank you. So thank you, Mithrandir. You're right. You're right. I have to... I have to be real. I have to get locked in. Brian, thank you so much. Big congrats to all the recent success and milestones. Your content and voice are unique. And you and Tom are great together. Still hoping to interview you soon. Oh, thank you for that. That actually is really, really... really generous and kind. Thank you so much. I'm just so sad that Star Wars content's gonna be put on hold for a hot minute, y'all. Until Visions or... When's our next live action? Let's not think about... Alright, let's not look to the future. We gotta think about now. We gotta think about our future in 5 hours from now. We gotta think about what we're gonna be like at 10 p.m. Pacific time tonight. Congrats on the question and Tony watching. Thanks, E! I'm still not over it, y'all. It's just been it's just a crazy day. A crazy next freaking 48 hours, frankly, because we are about to be an editing machine. It's gonna be crazy. Oh, I did want to steal that Tauntaun cosplay, Charlie. I was living my best dang life. Y'all know I love the freaking Tauntauns. So yeah, it was crazy. But if we do not post up as our own Borgullet photo op cosplay station, Shooter McGavin is here. Let's go. We've got it. What a day. Not the Shooter McGavin. I'm freaking dying. Tony Gilroy, I'm dead. I was too. Literally, I wish I could reenact for y'all the squeal that I let out when I literally like buckled. My knees buckled. I just, it just doesn't feel freaking real. If we cannot achieve Borg Gullet, all this is to say, I will permanently damage my hair for the next 10 years time because I'm going to bleach it and I'm going to go as full-fledged Dedra, blonde hair in real life and everything. And we're just going to have to pay the price. And my hairdressers are just going to hate me for the next 10 years because I'm going to destroy my head of hair. But that's what this calls for. That's what dedication takes. So catch me literally all 4 days of celebration next in 2027 as Dedra to compensate for the fact that I'm gonna bleach my head of hair. I would do it, y'all. I'd go Daenerys mode for a hot minute. I feel like I could maybe pull that off. A blonde wig, no need to ruin your hair. I know, but I've always wanted to try it. You gotta practice that Dedra scout, literally. I'm just gonna walk around. Nobody's gonna be able to approach me. Y'all won't even recognize me, actually. Maybe this is counterintuitive because y'all aren't gonna be able to find me. I'm gonna be looking real mean and, blonde. So I'm gonna be elusive. Y'all aren't gonna see me coming. Yes, and Tom can be Cyril. With the beret and spider. Actually, this could work. This could be great. Bendak Starkiller, thank you. Glad you're still doing this. I subscribed to you after the release of Star Wars Theories movie. Best of luck from Poland. Shout out Poland! Oh my gosh! We've got folks everywhere. Frick, yes. Aw, thank you so much. That means a lot. Also, what time are you watching? Isn't it late? Okay, if it's 2 p.m. here, that means it's 5 p.m. Eastern, which means it's like... Okay, so it's not yet midnight. It's almost, no, it's not almost midnight. No, it's late night. It's night owl time for you guys. Either way, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Excuse me. Oh my god. A blonde hobbit. That's what I'd be, y'all. And now y'all can attest, to those of you who actually met me in person, how low to the ground I actually am. And I witnessed how tall you guys actually are, and what growth hormones were you guys taking as kids? I didn't get any of that. I needed some of that. It's 11 p.m. Thank you. Okay, so I was right. It's almost midnight. I gotta go in a minute. So happy for you. Thank you so much, Brian, and thank you so much for joining. You've been here since like the beginning. Shout out to all of you guys who've been watching. Holy frick, I didn't even realize that we're going on 3 hours now. Because life is just so great. Time flies when you're having fun, and this has just been a crazy day, top to bottom. So thank you so much for being here. Tom with a custom tailored Preox Morlana security uniform. For real. He could actually... This could work. We could make this happen. Low-key, I would 1000%. Cyril and Dedra have cemented themselves as some of my favorite freaking characters. So I would cosplay as her in a heartbeat. I feel like it wouldn't be that difficult either to get the Imperial. See, in my headcanon, my pipe dream is to do like Padme, but all her stuff is probably expensive as shiz, and I'm not a seamstress, y'all. I'm not. I can't sew to save my freaking life. So I'm not one of these talented people who could fabricate my own costume, build my own thing. You know, I'd have to freaking buy the bits and pieces of it to put it together, and we're balling on a budget here, you know what I'm saying? But Dedra, I feel like would be easy to pull together. Now at this point, this kind of just looks like the problem is this was my first time trying this new flavor, and I didn't know that the color was going to look like that. So that's on me. Bird Church, thank you so much. Oh, we could do Clea too, Shooter, and I wouldn't have to bleach my hair for that. Actually, that's genius. Bird Church, thank you. Andor fans, heading into final 3 episodes. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts. Literally. For sure. That's all of us just counting Counting our hours here. We're what the frick am I trying to say? We're not much longer for this kind world. We're about to be uh emotionally traumatized into oblivion, I fear. I don't know. Is there any way it could be hopeful? Your height lends to you cosplaying as Edie. I could do a mean Edie. Hang on, how tall is that actress? Because she's probably... Alright, played by Catherine Hunter. Who is 5'1". I'm 5'2". I thought I had inches on Edie. She's so short. How tall is Kyle Solar? Because she looks dwarfed. Okay, he's got to be clocking over 6 feet then. He's 5'10". I just am short then. 5'1" and 5'2", that's basically the same thing. I don't even have inches on Edie. I have 1. Oh, frick. I really thought that she was like 4'11", y'all. She looks short, and now I'm like, I'm not even taller than her. Edie cosplayed it, I guess. I guess this is what we're rocking with. How tall is... Now I'm just looking up everybody's height. Denise. 5'5"? Now that is... She looks taller than 5'5". I don't know what I'm... Everybody's tall in my world. So I look at anyone who's over 5'5". Yeah, 5'5", that's like average. To me, that's tall. To me, you might as well be a model. You might as well. That's tall. Everyone's tall to me. But holy frick, that says a lot, because I'm out here thinking that she was like... I feel like in some of these shots with Cyril, she's like eye to eye with him. Edra and Cyril. Mom and Dad. They're literally like eye to eye in some of these shots. So maybe she's got like some heavy duty boots on. Okay, she's like a few inches shorter than him actually, but not like 5. Well, I can't gauge distances, so what do I know? I only know the cold hard reality of what it's like to be this low to the ground, so what would I know? But I thought she was taller than that, and that's on her presence. That's on stage presence. That's on being intimidating. So shout out to her. You are a hobbit. I am. I really am, y'all. She definitely looks taller than 5'5". Okay, so I'm not crazy. She has incredible posture. That's gotta be it, E. She's like every shot totally standing up straight, so that's gotta be what it is. She probably got those platform boots. Yeah. She wears heels sometimes. You're right, actually. In their apartment scenes. I think she was wearing heels. That's what it is. Yep. So, I'd have to get platform boots to be Dedra. Or I just book my hair bleaching appointment for one day and my leg lengthening appointment for the other. If we're going all out, we're sending it. We're full pedal to the metal. We're not gonna half-ass this. We're gonna go full transformation mode. But if I didn't want to do anything, I guess I'd have to be Edie's. I'll walk around with like a box of that would be my... No, I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I was gonna say, because at Star Wars Celebration you can do exchanges of swag. So people make like pins, stickers, patches, badges, whatever you can think of to like, you know, give out to people. And you can do it as an exchange. I mentioned this in a stream after Celebration that I didn't realize that was part of the culture, so I showed up empty-handed, but people... Sometimes it's like you do a 1-for-1. But I met so many people who were just giving out stuff if they had extras. So even though I didn't have anything to give in return, I got pins and stickers and stuff from some kind folks. So I was going to say, now that I know that's the culture, maybe my swag as Edie, I'll just get 1,000 of those little, like, you know, if you go to hotels, little cereal boxes of like the Crunch Berries, like Captain Crunch. I'll get some cereal and I'll give that out to everybody, but I don't know if you're allowed to hand out food. That probably breaks some rules. I don't know. But that would be my swag. As Edie, I would just give everybody cereal. Yeah, that would be great. I don't know if I ever told y'all back when I was doing Andor season 1 reactions before I stopped, and I never mentioned to you guys why I stopped, but let's just say I had some technical problems, technical difficulties that prohibited, unfortunately, me finishing out that show, doing reaction style. Obviously, that's all been worked through, but before I realized that I had those problems, I did film an entire episode reaction that never got posted. But in that reaction, I low-key did a mukbang of, I got like the Captain Crunch, like Crunch Berries that look exactly like the cereal that Cyril was eating. Like it's like the blues and browns, like Cyril's cereal. Jesus, say that 5 times fast. Yeah, it's like blue and brown. And I swear, Captain Crunch Berries, which freaking wreck the roof of your mouth, I must say. Because I wasn't allowed to. Yeah, they're like blues and reds and greens. It looks very freaking similar. And I did a whole mukbang. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so fun. And then I never actually posted that reaction. So, sorry about that. That's in the archives, and that'll remain unseen footage probably forever. Because I think I deleted it in frustration after I came upon the technical errors that were happening. Yeah, they look like Trix or Captain Crunch. No, let's just keep Googling. What did they use to make Cyril's cereal? Like, did they have to freaking commission, like, a cereal brand? Or did they just hand color some of them? Crunchies. Holy frick. Oh my god. Hang on, y'all. Discovery. Crunchies were, oh my god, and that's the ones that Cyril was eating. A type of pebble-sized cereal that was edible to humans. Blue and purple in color, the spherical treats could be served in bowls of blue milk. Former pre-oxymorlana. No! Where was I? Oh, frick. Where were we? What the frick just happened? So much is happening. It's overstimulated. We broke it. Well, we might never know. Okay. Cyril Karn was given crunchies by his mother after he was let go from pre-more enforcement. Oh my god. It doesn't want to work. Come on. Karn at first refrained him from consuming the dish, instead plucking one of the crunchies from his milk and giving it a thorough inspection. Eventually, he ate his crunchies. But it said that this is from a real-life cereal, which he thought looked like Star Wars Cocoa Puffs. Solar said the cereal was surprisingly delicious and tasted like dreams and unicorns. I swear I just read something, though, that said it was a real... It's from, like... who created several prototypes made out of cardboard. Oh, god. Oh, this is the box. Oh, phew, not the actual crunchies themselves. Phew! Are blue and purple from real-life cereal Trix Trolls World Tour with marshmallows. So they just took the marshmallows out. Hang on. So, hey, wait, we could actually procure this. This is real, unless it was like a limited edition release for the Trolls. I don't know if I ever watched that movie. Trix Trolls World Tour? Why are all of these such tongue twisters? Oh my god, wait. Well, out of stock. Frick. Well, I guess we can't get our little hands on it. Rats. But it was real. So that's so funny to me, because I always wondered if they just hand painted it themselves, or if they actually like procured a real cereal brand, or like paid, you know, Trix or Captain Crunch to make some that for like the Star Wars universe. Cereal is a bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. It appears so. Um, Alice has joined. Let's go, Queen. Oh my gosh, thank you for tuning in. Good to see you. Comes out at 2 a.m. for me. You best believe I'm staying up till 5 for every episode. Well, I hope you don't have to immediately go to work in the morning. L7. Star Wars should do a collab with Trix. They really should. I would buy this. I would, but I went out and bought crunch berries, which I had never had. And like I said, y'all, I did a little taste test and everything, and I filmed this reaction, and I ate the cereal during the reaction. I was like, this is great. This is going to be the best skit ever. And then I never posted it. Forgot that Americans eat candy for breakfast. Okay, Dan? Yes, but I'm going to do a little touche and say that the biggest culture shock for me, throwback to when I mentioned like 30 minutes ago that I studied abroad in Italy for a summer. I lived in Rome for 7 weeks. There's no real breakfast there besides pastries. Everybody there was having cigarettes and a black coffee and a pastry for breakfast. And I was like, what the, how are y'all doing this? How are y'all getting fueled off of a chocolate-filled croissant? I was like, I'm not, but like, there's no, like, yeah, our breakfast food beyond cereal isn't really that nutritious either, unless you're having like oatmeal. But like, I remember there's no like diners. I was like, oh my God, all I want, the biggest thing I was craving to get back to America and have was like pancakes or like a Belgian waffle or French toast from a diner. Oh my God. Oh, frick. Are we still here? Hang on. Okay. Oh gosh, we're glitching out, so hopefully this is still live. I'm still gonna keep talking as if we are live, but my Wi-Fi just crapped out. Oh no. Oh please. Oh my God, did we just crash? No, I think we're still here. Oh please. That would really stink. No, I think we're fine. I think... Oh my God, I think it crashed. Wait, no, are we still live? What's happening? Are we still here? Are we here? What's going on? I'm still with us. Okay. No, literally, y'all. Okay, phew. it reloaded for me, and then it prompted me to start a whole new stream. Oh, thank God. You're here, girl. Phew. Okay, thank God. I can see you. I couldn't see you, though. I couldn't see you guys. It totally reloaded for me. That's why I was like, okay, just keep talking. Keep talking. Act natural. Act natural. But it reloaded the screen for me, and it prompted me to create a whole new stream. Like, my Wi-Fi crashed out. Because we've just been going too long. It can't handle us. Club can't handle me right now. Wi-Fi can't handle me right now. So phew. Okay, thank God. But I really thought the whole LA, the city of brownouts, yep. Well, we've also probably been pushing it to its limits. I was like, no! Okay, phew. All right, sorry y'all had to witness my sheer terror and confusion. Anyway. My point is, yeah, Americans, we don't have the best start to our day in terms of the breakfast arena. But I learned that neither do Europeans, at least in Rome. Y'all were having cigarettes and black coffee and croissants. And like, that was it. Like, there's no like breakfasty restaurants to go. Like, we just never went out for breakfast. I think we went to one place that was definitely like a tourist trap designed for Americans, and I was able to get a waffle. But, oh, that's all I was craving when we came back to America. So, some of y'all can't talk. Now, that said, thank you for being here, Lowdown. Moral of the story, okay, I'm so glad that the stream didn't crash out. We're still here. We're still going strong. Shout out. That would have been tragic if we ended this 3+ hour stream just with me ranting about Belgian waffles. That would have been crazy. Oh gosh. I drink 6 shots of espresso every morning. Alice. Don't mess with Alice. Oh my gosh. Eggs and hash browns all day. Well, I know those of y'all in the United Kingdom, my British friends, y'all take breakfast seriously. Y'all got your beans on toast, your eggs, your blood pudding. Oh, what do y'all know about blood pudding? I can't even talk about it. My belly's churning. I didn't know that existed. And you guys know I'm a vegetarian. Some of you might know. But when I went to the United Kingdom a few years ago to visit my cousin who was studying abroad herself over there, she posted this photo like a few weeks before I was going to go out. And I was like, what is that black stuff on your plate? Blood pudding. Let's have a history lesson, y'all. What in the world is blood? Let me educate you. Let me educate you. I will never underestimate you United Kingdom folk again. I learned that you guys are hard freaking core. Let me educate you. Ew. Sorry. Blood pudding, also known as black pudding. It's a type of blood sausage. It is a traditional dish made from animal blood. Anyone who's tuning into this stream, by the way, who's trying to hype for Andor, I'm so sorry. This is such a... Holy frick, my doorbell just rang, y'all. Hang on. Oh my god. Let me BRB. Y'all, what a day. Y'all just witnessed my worst nightmare, which is my doorbell ringing. Sorry about that. Was not prepared for that. So if you're still here, thank you for not piecing out. That was quicker than I thought it was going to be, thankfully. So, but yeah, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I just don't like when my doorbell rings. So y'all witnessed a temporary moment of fear, true fear. Everything is Gucci. Everything is more than Gucci now because maintenance came. Maintenance helped us out. Maintenance saved the day. I was expecting them, just not this soon. I low-key was like, I hope they don't come during the stream. I wish it was DoorDash, Darren. I wish. No, just boring old maintenance. No, they're actually God warriors. Shout out to them. And shout out to him. He was great. Just wasn't prepared for it. Anyway, blood pudding. Hang on. We were in the middle of something really important. Blood pudding. Now, this is typically... Oh my god. Y'all, you can imagine my vegetarian ass a week out of going to the United Kingdom for the first time. Now, I'll say all of this. I thought I was gonna starve when I went to the UK. Y'all, we Americans dish you guys a lot of unnecessary hate towards your cuisine because it is so much more than just beans and toast and fish and chips. There's so much great international cuisine there, which I wasn't thinking about because I was just thinking about like, oh, what is UK food? Beans and toast, like. No, there's such great Indian cuisine. Oh my god, I ate good. All this is to say, I'm gonna roast blood pudding now. I'm gonna shit on this now. But I had some of the best food of my life when I was in London, and I think about it, it creeps back up into my subconscious once a month, and I'm like, oh my freaking god, I need to freaking just go back. I ate so good over there. The food there's great, so just let me joke about this for a hot second, but just know that at the end of the day, I was humbled as a United States citizen. I know we like to banter. I know we like to roast each other at times. But I was put in my place. Now this, though, I did not consume because obviously this would not be vegetarian friendly. Typically pig's blood. Oh god. Ew. Oh. Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna look at this anymore. Sorry. I'm actually so sorry for exposing y'all to that. I forget now how we even got on this subject. Oh, cereal, and somehow that morphed into American breakfasts. Then the cigarette and croissant in Italy. I'm sorry, that's probably really stereotypical. I'm actually really sorry. That was just my observation. Because I remember being there and being like, how is everybody here so healthy and chic and beautiful and good looking, yet y'all are smoking a pack a day and there's no real breakfast food. It's just pastries and pasta. I was like, how are y'all so healthy? It's probably because they too walk a lot, obviously. Everybody walks more than us, so. And then that segued into blood. The UK is full of vampire. Well, now I know. Y'all are Nosferatu. I never knew blood pudding existed until like 7 days out before I was going over there. I was like, oh god. Whew. So yeah, that was a culture shock. All this is to say, cereal was eaten pretty good at his mom's house. Carl Friedrich, thank you for bringing us back to the whole point of this stream. I would wish that Luthen could survive and become manager of the fabulous Cantina Band from Tatooine and go on a galactic tour if Krennic wants to have a bombastic opening show for his Death Star. Maybe Luthen will survive and he'll go into a different line of work. I'm really sorry, Chopper. I probably just ruined your day. I wish I didn't know what blood pudding was. Me either, but that's why I was like, I will never underestimate you Londoners again. That's not London exclusive, I imagine. That's the whole UK. Y'all have that dog in you. I didn't know that. So, Kermit the Frog says, I went to England as well for a week, and we did the usual tourist stuff, and I went to Germany and Austria. Oh, I want to go. Germany's on my bucket list, y'all. Because I took 4 years of German in high school. I need to exercise it. I need to use it. So yes, I would love to do that. Yeah, the Indian food in London was off the charts. Oh my god, it was so good. Mm. I was living I was having the best time, y'all. London was also a big bucket list trip gone for me. Because I love shows like The Tudors, The White Queen, all that stuff about the Tower of London. So I've always wanted to go there and see that, which sounds very morbid and twisted. Y'all have that blood in you and not in the good normal chopper. Oh, God. All this is to say, I'm not trying to, I know it's coming across as me roasting. I'm merely shining the light on the fact that I learned. Greetings from Poland. Yes, we are appreciating other cultures here. That's what I'm trying to say. I would go back to Rome in a heartbeat. I freaking loved it there. I want to go to London so bad, but holy smokes, I think it's actually the one place on planet Earth that's more expensive than Los Angeles. I think there's definitely a high cost of living over there. I want to go to Germany so bad. I'm already so grateful for every place that we have been. Japan being the latest. I never thought I would ever get to travel there. So this is, if it's coming across, I'm not roasting any other cultures, I swear, y'all. I'm merely commenting on the things that stood out to me. What time is it? It's T-minus almost 2 hours. 3 hours till Andor time. It's 2:43 p.m. here, Pacific time. So we will soon be a mere 3 hours away. And then after that, what are we going to do with our lives? Dang, I'm trying to predict what our mental state is going to be like tonight, folks. And maybe you guys are right and we are just in for heartbreak. I did watch the broadcast with Gilroy. Oh yes, I woke up at 6:30 a.m. to pregame for that. I woke up early to get ready for that because that came out bright and early. That was 9 a.m. here. It was a great way to start the day. So thankfully that was first thing in the morning because otherwise I would not have been able to think of anything else. I just got started with my day and I was like, let's freaking get it. But yeah, that was crazy. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what emotional damage he puts us through for the finale and if he gets to witness my ugly cry again. Sheer excitement, then tears. That's what the order of today is, Lord Insidious. You're right. That's on the docket. We're up here. We're excited. We're hype. We're pre-gaming. We're getting lit. And at 10 p.m. tonight, we could all be brokenhearted and in the gutter. I'm debating whether or not to stay awake for the episodes. They come out at 3 a.m. here in France, so it's 6 a.m. by the time I've watched all three. Well, it's a great way to start your day. I would probably sleep if that were me, which condolences. That used to be us. Like I was saying earlier, back when Disney Plus first became a thing, episodes were coming out for us on the East Coast in America at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So that was the struggle of like, well, just see it in the morning, I guess. So, but if I didn't have work the following day, I'd probably, well, even if I did, I'd probably go to bed early and then wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch. We're just all essentially allowing ourselves to be tortured. Exactly, Alice. This is our Tower of Blood. Now, this is, we're welcoming it at this point. I think the last arc will be centered around Luthen. After all, Cassian's story has already been told, I think. You could be onto something because Luthen wasn't too present. He was just very ominous in the latest arc. And there's clearly still work left for him to do that is preventing him from going to Yavin. I don't think he ever wants to go to Yavin. So, potentially, maybe this is the, I was gonna catch myself and say maybe this has all been leading to this final arc where we're gonna lose Luthen and it's gonna be predominantly focused on him. But what else could be going on? We know that they do not yet have the knowledge. They probably are just starting to get word of what the Empire's building, like what happened to Gorman, why they obliterated it, why the planet was massacred. They're probably just starting to get the whispers and do recon of like the Empire's building something big. And it's not until the very beginning of Rogue One when Cassian learns that it's a planet killer. So they know some super weapon is. Yeah, that's what they're gonna learn this arc. I think that's what is gonna be the task at hand. Of they somehow get intel that the Empire has something up their sleeve, and they learn that it's a super weapon. So they probably just don't know to what extent. Oh, I'm sadly going to be watching Andor alone tonight since my partner has to get up very early for work. Oh, stinks for them. And you that you have to watch it alone, but at least you get to watch it. So yeah, somehow I guess this could be a very high stakes do or die mission, whatever is at stake tonight. We know what's at stake. We know what it's all brewing towards. So I think perhaps tonight is going to be the processes of them being like, all right, Empire's got something going on. We got to figure out what the frick it is. But how? I don't know. And who's gonna... We'll have to revisit the stream and all of our polls to see the success rate of your guys' predictions when it comes to who kicks the bucket or who survives. Luthen is usually multiple steps ahead of everyone, and he knows his time is up. He's gonna make sure the rebellion will succeed without him. You're right, Stanley's. You're right. Imagine him going out like a boss, giving a speech to Palpatine with no... Jesus. Luthen, if he goes out, will go out like a boss regardless. I'm just looking forward to K2 being back. For real. Oh, yes, we get the slap, the trailer shot. That's what I'm most excited for. In the crux of all the turmoil and heartache and heartbreak and tragedy that is in store for us tonight, we at least have K2. We at least have some comedic freaking relief, y'all. Like, oh my god, I hope they don't pull any punches with K2, and please just give us... My will to live, as soon as they revealed that they were reviving him, that he was being exorcised, was like the one thing I could cling to keep going, to persevere. So getting him in action tonight. And you know what? I'm actually really excited because it's going to have been a year. My original prediction going into season 2 was that K2 and Cassian were not necessarily going to be the best of friends. Like, they were going to have some rocky beginnings. They obviously did. Now that we freaking know how K2 comes into the picture, how he gets introduced into the equation, that certainly was rocky. But I was curious. I was going to be like, the K2 that we meet, they're probably going to, like, not be the best of friends as we know them. You know, they're buddies. They're still sassy with each other, but they're at least buddies by the time we get to Rogue One. I was curious if we were going to have to kind of sift through, like, their rocky beginning together of this, like, uneasy relationship. But I imagine where we're going to be now in the timeline, they're going to have been past all of that initial phase, got that out of their system, and they'll be bros, right? Is BMO really gone then? I don't know. I saw somebody on Twitter theorize that Luthen probably had BMO shut down. It's like, because he knew things. So I don't know. Holy fricks, totes magoats. I always suspected that Luthen was working with the Emperor. Holy frick. Now that would just be heartbreaking, wouldn't it? Oh my god. One reviewer said that the last shot of the finale made them run laps around their room. What the frick could that mean? That we're all just not going to sleep tonight? Oh god. It's going to be a late night for everybody. That's all-nighter. That sounds like all-nighter material right there. Gosh, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm excited for K2. I was like, okay, They only gave us a little tease of him in the last arc to kind of mend our frickin' broken hearts. So now we actually get to have him in his full glory, which I am looking forward to. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Right, what does that mean, Alice? Are these happy laps or sad laps? Like, I was doing laps around my room when we met Anakin in the World Between Worlds and Ahsoka. And we hear, hello, Snips. And then cut to Hayden Christensen. Like, I shot out of my chair and I had to go for a walk then. And that was from sheer happiness. Epicness. There is a different type of walk, though, of lapping around your room when you're like, oh my god. I imagine a lot of people were doing it in The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2, if you know, you know. Which, I'm sorry, I've not done really much coverage on that. I know I said I was going to continue to talk more about it, but I kind of don't have anything. I don't know. Show's almost over at this point, so maybe I'll talk about it. We'll do a stream to kind of recap after the season's over, because I was so late to watching it. Obviously didn't film reactions, haven't been filming any sort of commentary about it, or even streaming to discuss it, so maybe we'll do that to finish out the season for that. But yeah, there are many different types of ways that one could shoot out of their seat and start doing laps around their rooms. Is it going to be like that meme of Pedro Pascal laughing and then crying for real? What could that mean? Oh, I wish people could have seen my reaction to Ahsoka Episode 5. Historic. There are certain things in Star Wars where it's like, I'll never forget where I was when I watched that. Literally. Like, that's how I feel about that episode. It has gone down in history. So that makes me nervous. I'm like, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we're in for different emotions tonight than we experienced last week. Last week was just absolutely harrowing, traumatic, depressing, just frankly ripped your heart out. So just traumatizing, horrific. Like I said, it was like watching a horror movie. I think we're going to dive into just deeper stakes, and actually, I guess we got a little bit of it, like heart beating out of your chest, like, oh my god, on the edge of your seat, like nervous anxiety, as we saw with Mon when she was making her escape from the Senate. So I feel like that could be more of what we get tonight in terms of what's on the docket, what's on the plate, what's on the menu for this evening's emotional wreckage. But we've been going, folks, for 4 hours, and I set out to go till 3, and we actually did it. Apologies for the bathroom break and the maintenance interruption in between. You'll be fine, bro. Thanks, Darren. I'm gonna tell myself that as we embark on the episode, so if I'm not fine, we'll see. But the feels are gonna be heavier tonight. I know, and the fact that it's over, too, like, it's... I'm just gonna be grieving, I think, also just... I'll be sad. If I'm sad, it could be for other reasons, but I already know preemptively that I'm gonna be sad because it's over. So we're gonna maybe be in a completely different mental state later. But fear not, folks, because we will be returning. I've been gone for almost 4 hours. I might go take a break, save my energy, save my voice, because we are still going to be back at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, for our usual Dork Discourse, and this time I will thankfully have my co-pilot, Tom. I'm digging the long streams. We have not streamed for this long, this hardcore, in such a long time. So maybe it's a good thing that we had our, 5-hour stream this weekend, and we could go into today full-fledged, ready to party. But like I said, it didn't even feel like, it's like, holy frick, it's just been a crazy freaking day, y'all. If I keep thinking about it, I'm gonna lose my marbles all over again. We finally, calmed... George, that is the freaking one-liner for this stream. Rebellions are built on black pudding. Oh my god, that is the perfect way to encapsulate this stream. Oh my god. Yes, but I'm gonna do what Chopper says. We're gonna get a refill, pre-game, continue to pre-game. We're just gonna pre-game off stream. Once again, YouTube, overlords. This is not what what we all thought it was, I swear to god. I'm gonna be back later. I'm gonna use different flavoring drops. Also, y'all like the Darth Maul? As a Darth Maul. We're going to use different flavoring drops. And I'm going to prove to y'all that it was just water this whole time, that we've just been hydrating. But yes, we are going to be back 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for Dork Discourse. Tom's going to be here. I'm going to maybe make him do most of the talking to carry that. And we're going to keep this going. We're going to hear from him. He's probably going to be more on board with the rest of y'all. I spent the entirety of this stream in denial that everybody's going to die tonight. Everybody's going to be French toasted, roasted, focaccia bread, deep dish oven pizza, toast. Absolute on the chopping block. I've been in denial. Tom's probably going to be out here, like, siding with the rest of y'all, like, no freaking way anyone is surviving. So, stay tuned for his thoughts. You guys know he's always been more hardcore than I have been. But thank you so... We've had, like, around 100 viewers this whole freaking time, y'all. I cannot even convey how much that means to me. And if you came over here and subscribed and met me through that stream on Star Wars this morning, freaking shout out. I'm so honored that you're here. You've caught a great time to be here. I'm not usually this high energy, I swear. Maybe I am, but I was particularly annoying today. So the fact that you guys stuck around means the freaking world to me. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. This was like one of our best streams ever. It was so much fun. The energy is going to keep going. Pre-game part 2 happening in a few hours. Regroup, rally, rendezvous, get hype, charge up, and we're going to be back. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in a couple more hours. My God, the day is young and we're still going. See y'all for part 2 in a little bit. Until then. I was going to say my usual greeting. I was going to say I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to catch you in a few hours. So keep doing well until then. All right. See y'all in a bit. Go take a break, y'all. And we'll be back. Stay tuned for our regularly scheduled programming at 5. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.